Hello. How are we all? How are we all, humans? Also, to that random knobhead who said that Rift is always late, if I'm always late, maybe I'm always on time, for my standards. Bet you didn't think of that, did you cock? Hello all, welcome. We're getting everyone in, just be patient. Right, with that being said, we are just about ready, I think. Again, we're going to put on some music in the background. Should be fine. Oh, I do not have chat open. Right, there we go. Chat's now opened. Right. So, context as to what's been going on. There is a person called Colin, and there is a person called SK, and these two people mix like oil and water. And we watched. My camera's a little far up, actually. And yeah. They made a video on each other, so today we're going to be looking at Colin's response to SK. Is it going to be as good as SK's video, or is it not? Let's take a look. My camera is too far that way. Still too far that way. Still too far that way. There we go. Good enough. Alright. Again, I'm just gonna put my phone on charge. Also, can we just appreciate the like to dislike ratio on this video? It's not looking too well. So, that being said, let's begin.
I'm not gonna waste much time with an intro for this video, as most of it will speak for itself. But for anyone that wants to know like any further information or to know literally every detail, like
oh shit, yeah. There you go.
Thank you very much.
exactly for yourself, there will be links to my Twitter. You can find SK's Twitter on his fucking account, and there is a video related to the situation in this description. For people wondering where my new videos are gonna be at, I am currently waiting for sponsorships to get back to me. Otherwise, I would have posted multiple already. I'm just waiting on them before I'm allowed to post the videos. And I don't even want to be...
Seems a little weird that you'd wait for sponsors to post videos. Like, why would you not just upload them? Kind of seems like he's prioritizing money over his viewers' entertainment a little bit. Which is not really surprising, considering he made literally every single disagreement day a fucking members-only thing. Which I freaking hate, by the way. Colin.
And also effect his audience, but you know.
Colin, if you're watching this, sort that shit out. Make it so that we can watch disagreement days without having to pay you money.
be making this video today. But you know, things happen.
It starts with Colin responding to someone requesting basic moderation in Marvel Rivals because they saw a username called
Alright, so I'm guessing, based on the way this video's edited, I'm guessing it's going to be like his typical videos. So the context he provides that he's going to be responding to.
Things happen.
It starts with Colin responding to someone requesting basic moderation in Marvel Rivals because they saw a username called Jew Genocide. It seemed like he had a problem with the tweet, so I decided to push back because that's obviously ridiculous to judge someone for. I decided to criticize Colin on this from a couple of angles, one of which being that this would reflect poorly on him and could give ammo to people who already want to falsely tarnish his image. The other being that making fun of genocide isn't appropriate for a Marvel superhero game for kids, and expecting basic moderation for this is completely reasonable. Colin proceeds to say that his problem is that this person decided to leave a Marvel Rivals match because of the Jew Genocide name, despite the Twitter user in question being Jewish. He proceeded to display a blatant lack of empathy and said that he doesn't care and that leaving the game because the genocide of their people was made fun of makes them a pussy. He proceeds to downplay the idea that the Holocaust being made fun of could be offensive by showing that World War II ended in 1945, even though
Well, so far at least I'm on SK's side, but we'll see what happens.
Anti-Semitism didn't die in 1945. I tell him that the effects this has on their family members would obviously extend to their children as well, who would have to hear of such horrific stories involving their family.
Okay, so first things first, my point is, and it has always been, that literally no normal person that has some semblance of a spine is going to have some mental breakdown or some fucking war flashback over someone joking about a horrific event that happened almost a century ago. Especially since—
I mean, they could. Who are you to say otherwise? Also, saying like, oh, you don't have a spine, therefore you're gonna respond in such a way, it's very patronizing. Like, like, that's literally what PTSD is. Brave soldiers who have seen too much shit, and every now and then they have bouts of panic or stress. It's like, saying, like, getting offended over stuff makes you a pussy is very... I don't even know.
Since most people weren't even fucking alive when it happened. And if you were, then...
I mean, not being alive when something happened doesn't mean you can't still acknowledge it was bad? Question mark?
Like, it was still one of the worst crimes
like
in history.
It's like the worst tragedy of all time, I think. Well, it's one of the most talked about ones for sure.
And it is also one of
like,
the most severe as well.
It's like, it's one of the most inhumane things. It's like, I hate this idea that, oh, something happened X amount of years ago, therefore it shouldn't bother you. It's like, okay, then why the fuck do we remember the Titanic? It sank in 1912, 2 years before World War I. Over a century later, people still praise that ship. Like, I don't understand this logic. It's like, just because you weren't alive doesn't mean that something doesn't affect you, especially if it directly affects parts of your family tree. Like, that, by extension, goes on generations and can affect you, like, retroactively.
By all means, and if you're someone...
a century isn't even actually that long in the...
Yeah, like, relatively speaking, a century isn't even that long. Like, if you were getting offended by shit from, like, the prehistoric era, then yeah, I agree, but, like...
Plus, also, some people have grown up throughout their lives not even knowing their own grandparents because it happened.
Yeah, it has a generational impact as well. It's like, the freaking Holocaust literally had an effect on generations. It's like, there are generations alive today because of, like, Oskar Schindler, for example. And likewise, there's generations who never got to see the light of day because of the actions of what happened from not just the Germans, but also the Allies, because war brings out the worst in everyone. Like, we were all bastards. It should be remembered. It's like, if World War II, quote-unquote, ended in the 1940s, therefore we shouldn't remember it. It's like, why the fuck do we have Remembrance Day? We literally commemorate the brave soldiers who fought and died for us. It's like, oh, we shouldn't do that because the war ended years ago. That's not how it works. And you seem like a complete asshole and like a freaking Andrew Tate wannabe for saying, oh, you're just a pussy if you get offended by that.
Almost a century ago. Especially since most people weren't even fucking alive when it happened. And if you were, then by all means. And if you're someone who does, you shouldn't be on the internet regardless. Because you
Gatekeeping, question mark?
clearly have mental problems that you need to work out. My entire point in general, though, as I've explained many times, is that in my personal opinion, and I didn't even think this was a big deal, SK was the one that made this a big deal. If you're willing to leave a game, what you would be doing is ruining the fun of other people for X amount of time, just because you couldn't handle an offensive username. Then, in my opinion, you're just being soft. That doesn't mean you're a soft bitch for the rest of your life. That just means in that moment, I think you're being soft. Not even that big of a deal.
Well, again, like, if that's the case, like, oh, you're just soft in the heat of the moment, it's like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? It's like, if you're soft in the heat of the moment, who cares? Like, it seems like the only person who cares is you. It's like, the person who left, he or she was Jewish, they were offended by what was said, or the name that was used, and they didn't go on a massive Twitter rampage. All they did was suggest that, you know, basic moderation would be included in a game that is made for 12-year-olds or for teens. It's like, I don't think that's a bad response. It's like what I said in the previous stream. 3 people have the same response. One of them carries on with their day as if nothing happened. One of them goes on Twitter and requests moderation. And the other person commits literal crimes just to get back at the person who offended them. 3 people had the same response, they were all offended, but who had a disproportionate reaction? And the answer is not this guy that Colin is on about. So, what's the problem? If anything, the only person having a disproportionate reaction is Colin. It's like, oh, you were offended by something and you're in the wrong for ruining other people's fun. It's like, I will say to now what I said then. If that bothers you so much, either 1, get better at the game, so that way you can carry even if you're a man down, or 2, play a different game, where shit like that won't affect you. Easy solution.
Wasn't meant to be like this deep or that serious. Again, SK was the one that made it that. I never said that you couldn't be offended or anything of that nature, but SK will continue to spread that narrative. Even though I've explained that multiple times, he just wants to keep lying about his misinterpretation of it. And I refuse to believe it's a misinterpretation because I have explained this so many times.
He then proceeded to spam the end date of World War II without...
Fantastic rebuttal. The whole doubling down on the thing that people are criticizing him for.
That is...
It's like,
oh my god.
It's like, apparently, so if you're offended by a family member who died during World War II, apparently you're just soft, guys. He had the chance to apologize or to correct himself, and he chose not to. He recorded himself saying that, edited it, and uploaded it.
Not making any kind of argument against what I said. He continues to make non-arguments against what we're saying when this is clearly bothering us. We're trying to give him honest criticism, and he's not listening.
Yeah, if I don't keep up with chat, bear with me.
Ever think it was because...
I hate to be that guy, but if you want me to read your message, like, you should probably donate, because at the very least it will give me an audio notification that you've typed a message. Like, there's so many people here, it's like, there's over 100 people here now. Like, it's fucking impossible to keep up with you all.
Well, that's massive.
I'm really sorry, guys. I'll try keep up with your messages, but I'm fighting an uphill battle.
That tweet I made was...
Oh shit, I just realized I did a Colin. I just asked for money. Sorry.
Right, Griff, get a job.
That happened.
Yeah, I need a job.
That I didn't
Everyone
take too
spam
seriously
Riff,
and
get a
moved
job.
on with my day, and you decided to keep pestering me about said thing, even though I'm clearly disinterested in arguing about something that I found so fucking mundane. But no, you like to be...
Well, again, like, you finding it mundane and pointless doesn't mean that other people don't. Again, have empathy.
the moral superior and everything on the internet. So you couldn't fucking...
If having empathy equates to you needing to be morally superior, then I think that's telling of you as a person.
drop this shit when it was never that serious at all.
And while I found his overall mindset immature,
And again, we have this fucking gem of a screenshot right here. Bloody hell.
Your head's in the way, Rift.
Oh, my bad. Right, we have this gem of a screenshot. Like, even if it's like rage bait, it's like I don't think it takes a genius to work out that like you shouldn't just blatantly say these things.
and wished you would grow moving forward.
We have to get a job at Sega. Mate, I will single-handedly save the Sonic series. Don't even
Rift's
begin.
gonna bring back
Okay, buddy.
I mean, the Sonic series is fucked even without me, so I can't really make it any worse.
Decide I can't be friends with this person. Because at least in the past, it seemed like he was willing to accept criticism, even if he was so prone to making
Oh, Jesus
idiotic
Christ, we have to look at this pixelated gameplay of Project 06 again.
decisions.
Oh no. No, we're gonna have the freaking radical train thing, aren't we? Of him just jumping into the freaking wall.
Heat of conflict.
First getting
Tell me what's the
distracted by
harmless
the
base
Sonic.
joke right now. Tell me one.
Oh, we got this shit. I'll just speed past this again.
I just said it. What's so bad about? What's so bad? I just said it. The shit like the watermelon shit. Oh my fucking god.
Sing it,
Are
sing
you
it,
stupid? Are you
sing
stupid?
it, sing
You
it.
want to remember?
I'm really tired of saying this, but YouTube is a job. YouTube is not a job. Like, YouTube can earn you money, but again, you shouldn't rely on YouTube for a job. You shouldn't.
Unless you're like Mr. Beast.
Say it louder.
Yeah, unless you're like Markiplier. And even then, they don't rely on YouTube for jobs. It's like they do Patreons, they do other stuff. They do charity work.
And they also could just retire and still have enough money.
It's like, it's like, here's the thing. YouTube, you shouldn't rely on YouTube for a job. Like, you just shouldn't. It's like, I would be stupid if I relied on YouTube for a job. I would. Like, at this point in time, I would be stupid for doing it. And we're gonna get, I'm assuming that, okay, so Colin refers to the car. I've got a lot to talk about when it comes to his car. Like, I think Colin was freaking stupid for not, getting a job and, like, primarily relying on YouTube.
Watermelon. W-A-T-E-R-M-E-L-O-N. Watermelon. Say the joke. Say the joke. Say the joke right now. Say it. Say the joke.
You're black to do watermelon. You're black to do watermelon.
Colin has this tendency to throw his opinions in a provocative manner, and while some of this can be in light fun, at other times...
Depends, it's just like stocks, they can plummet and you can get cancelled. Well, again, at the very...
Trading stocks isn't a job either.
Well, at the very least, if you work in trading stocks, at the very least you have life experience you can put on a CV. It's like, if... What, are you gonna say that, oh, I was a YouTuber for X amount of years, that doesn't look good on a CV? Or at the very least, I don't think people would give a shit.
this
I mean,
can create
stocks is
serious-
more professional, but you all...
Yeah, it's a more professional
You
industry.
objectively cannot predict it, like even stock
it's like-
market experts,
but-
they actually can't.
But it's like either way, like I don't really care if you say that YouTube is or isn't a job. The point is that you can do both. You can have a real job, and you can have a part-time job and do YouTube. Like, you can do both at the same time with these. So I don't even want to like get bogged down on the. Well, actually, I think you'll find YouTube is a job. You earn quite a lot of money from it. It's like, mate, just do both. Don't be a lazy twat. Do both.
serious problems and allegations against him.
I like how he shows this video that he knows is disingenuous and was fine with when we were friends, because this happened when we were still friends, because the actual context of this video comes from an argument where some dude was trying to call me, or anyone for that matter, a genuine and actual racist person just because someone laughs at or makes offensive jokes that they don't actually mean. I told the guy that he's literally blowing his top over a joke that is basically harmless and wasn't even said to him.
But it's like YouTube again, like people in chat losing their shit over this. It's like YouTube is like gambling. It's like you have like for every you have the chance to hit gold, and you have a chance to like lose stuff. Like at the end of the day, it's like, why not just do both? It's like YouTube is a gamble. Because again, like you're never guaranteed success, but at the very least
Take it safe.
at the very least with a job, it's consistent, and it's relatively stable unless you're a bellend.
And mind you, before this, right? This came from a clip of one of my videos where I said by
Keyword, okay, Ty, you summed it up perfectly. Making a business is very risky, it can also result in a lot of money if you're lucky. Keyword if and keyword lucky.
this logic, someone is an
Also, like, again, everyone in chat, shut up as to whether it is or isn't a job. The point is, you could comfortably do both.
actual racist if they make a watermelon joke about black people.
Especially if, like, you do YouTube and then you get a job in, like, video editing. It's like, your job would literally make your YouTube better, and vice versa.
And while this guy was blowing his top over this, he told me to say the joke, and just kept trying to bitch me in a fucking Discord call, expecting me to just bend my knee and be a silent little bitch, as if
I mean, I don't think you should have bent the knee, but I think you shouldn't have given in to being provoked. It's like, yeah, like, that guy was in the wrong for provoking you, but it's like, you had a choice, and you said the freaking watermelon stuff. It's like, even if you weren't being offensive, even if, like, it wasn't your intention to be offensive, it's like, you still said that. It's like, you could have, like, got rid of the guy. Could have banned him, could have server muted him. It's like, no, you chose to say that. And it's just one of the many things that's now coming back to bite you in the ass.
I'm scared to say.
It's like, if, like, to give an example, like, if High CHD, or literally anyone, like, if someone, like, joined VC and was like, Rift, say the N-word, I wouldn't. There is nothing you could do to make me say that. I don't care. Like, there is literally nothing that anyone could do to make me say that word. It's like, at the end of the day, you chose to say that, and it's coming back to bite you in the ass.
Say something in a Discord call. Dude was acting tough in a Discord call and wanted me to pipe down, and I didn't. Even SK knows this video is disingenuous and shouldn't be used in a video attempting to smear me, and he found it funny in the past, but here we are.
Like what we saw in this clip right here, he seems to have much less of a lid on what he calls edgy humor, and while I think it's really immature of him...
Well, again, it's like, Colin, you had a choice, mate. Like, you could have just server muted him, you could have banned him, you could have timed him out. Could have done so much. It's like, you chose to say that. And it's like, I don't even know what to say. It's like, even if you weren't being offensive, and even if it isn't something to be taken seriously, it's like, it's one of many things coming back to bite you in the ass. You just shouldn't have said it to begin with.
I was also hoping he'd grow and mature over time, at least partially because of input from the company he keeps. That's represented by the pushback you're seeing from me in these messages, but as you can clearly tell, he seemed to only ignore criticism because he doesn't want to hear it.
Yes, because the criticism, quote-unquote, that I receive about finding offensive jokes or fucked up things funny or making those jokes myself are something I don't care about as much as you do, SK. SK would constantly try to treat me like a fucking child and tried to make me bend the knee over any slightly controversial thing I was a part of or said, and he didn't do it because he was actually worried about me. His reasoning that he's given multiple times when I told him, okay, why do you care? This is about me. His reasoning that he would give is because people would DM him and go to him about stuff I said or did. And he even says that in a recorded call that he has while the whole you're a racist situation was going on. And I don't block out criticism entirely. I block out criticism that I think is coming from someone who's just being a bitch in the moment and is a soft little snowflake that can't just ignore me and go on with their day. But
well, again, like, like, you saying stuff like this isn't helping your case, because this is the wrong time to be, like, big tough guy Andrew Tate persona. It's the wrong time, dude. It's like, a large chunk of your audience and a large chunk of... Nick? Okay, Echo. Oh, you already did. Never mind. Like, now is not the time to be putting on this persona. It's like, like, again, no one's expecting you to just bend over backwards and apologize for every dumb thing you said. But the point is, again, people are having issue with it. Now is not the time to be referring to, like, other people as snowflakes. It's like, again, if you want to sound sincere and to try and build back your reputation, no one's saying that you have to apologize, like, for all of this. But you're not doing yourself any favors by coming across as, like, big tough guy, fucking, the bully from Spider-Man. Fuck's his name again? Flash Thompson. It's like, putting on this persona is just not helping you. No one's expecting you to apologize, just own up to it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, no one's expecting... It's like, you shouldn't apologize. It's like, and again, to an extent, I agree with Colin, where it's like, you shouldn't, like, get offended by stuff that people say on the internet, within reason. And also, you shouldn't give a shit if a random person on the internet suddenly hates you. It's like, if you care about that, then yeah, your ego's a little bit fucking fragile. But at the same time, now is the wrong time to be using this persona.
Instead, they choose to cry over something that wasn't that serious in the first place, and wasn't even meant to be taken seriously.
It's one thing to be immature and ignorant, but it's a whole nother thing to block out criticism.
Yeah, Nikos, it was the person who spelled out the N-word, but like one letter per text. They've been banned.
Entirely because you're unwilling to hear it.
Something,
Comic
but
Legend even tells him to have
anything
some
bad.
tact
I'm
when
with
we're
it.
clearly annoyed with him, and he proceeds to ignore this entirely. Comic Legend was so confused
So this is the suicide baiting, I think.
and didn't understand the behavior, so he wanted to check on Colin's mental state to see how this would explain how he's behaving right now. He spams no to us in the chat when asked if he's okay. He proceeds to claim that he wants to kill
I'm very curious to see how he's gonna defend this.
himself, and we're all left shocked by this. I specifically told him this isn't funny in the event this is some kind of joke of his, so he must have known that we clearly had a problem with this from the start. He then proceeds to send a fake YouTube login and says first come first serve. We then start a Discord call with him because we're worried that he could end up taking his life. He then joins the call to laugh at us for taking the situation seriously, despite him making an active effort to make us believe him.
I still to this day can't even understand how even after I sent a GIF image of saying Jarvis rage bait this guy and proceeded to say a bunch of bullshit, then said, I'm gonna go KMS now, see you later, that he actually took it as seriously as he was in the moment. And that while in the moment I could recognize that he was worried, I didn't actually grasp the extent of how seriously he was taking it. I only started to get more—
Well, again, it's not just Colin, it was also, like, it's not just SK, it was other people. It's like, Echo, there's like an alt account, so do your
It
thing.
seems someone's trying to fuck you over. Keep an eye on chat.
Yeah, it's like, someone's trying to get their 15 seconds of fame, everyone just ignore him. But yeah, it's like, it's not just SK who was offended by it, it's like also, it's like also, Comic Legend and a few other people. It's like, you clearly could tell that they were taking it seriously, and again, like, they were concerned for your safety. It's like, and again, SK even, I don't know if he shows it, I don't know if SK shows it, or I don't know if Colin shows the thing in SK's comment, but yeah, it's like, he literally has a VC where he joins and he's like laughing at everyone. He's like, how could you take that seriously? It's like, again, making a self-deprecating joke is one thing. Like, saying, oh, if the next Sonic game is bad, I'm gonna end my my existence. That's one thing. But, like, legitimately making friends in your close circle worry about you and your safety for nothing more than shits and giggles, it's like, I think that is a freaking problem.
more level-headed and like realized this after he removed me from the group chat and his server, most likely due to the fact that I was awake for 24 hours, which is literally proven to impair one's judgment. That's why you're not supposed to drive when you're tired. And
But, well, again, like,
That's why you sleep.
Well, like, yeah, that's true, that's why you sleep, but it's like, again, you need to mod a few more people here. Echo's got this. There's a reason why he's called Echo, it's because he bounces off everything. But, literally, it's like Colin's saying, like, oh, I was sleep deprived. It's like, again, that's the reason for why you acted the way you did. It doesn't mean it excuses it. It's like, if you drink drive and you kill someone while drink driving, and you say, oh, I didn't kill them, it was the alcohol. It's like, no, you're still responsible for your actions. And the same can be said with being sleep deprived. It's like, it is what it is. Like, pretty sure Colin has insomnia, he said. Well, again, it's like, if he had insomnia, he would say so. He would be honest. Now is the time to be honest when people think he's a joke. And he's not saying that, he's just like, actually, I was sleep deprived, which is proven to make you a twat. It's like,
And also,
yeah, like,
it's
you're not
not gonna
wrong,
make
you were a
date
twat.
people
It's like,
with
that's
that as
not...
well.
It's like,
Like, you don't just automatically become a dickhead because
And the question that I want to ask myself is, why was he staying awake for 24 hours anyways? It's like, again, he admitted himself, it's like, yeah, he doesn't have a job, like, YouTube is his job. It's like, I'm fairly certain it's in one of the comments. Somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. He literally says, like, yeah, YouTube's my job. So it's like, why do you even need to stay awake for 24 hours? It's like, I work a part-time job and YouTube, upload quite a few videos, short streams, and what have you, and also have, like, hobbies like going to the gym and going swimming. And it's like, I've never stayed awake for 24 hours. The only time I've ever stayed awake for longer than 24 hours is when I was sleep deprived because of jet lag going to China. And I was awake for like 36 hours because my body clock was fucked. It's like, that's literally it. Like, and again, it's not an excuse. It's like, yeah, it's a reason as to why you acted the way you did. It doesn't excuse why you did it.
And the fact that I was already in an unserious mood laughing about this in another server. And I even tried to explain this to SK in another call where he just continuously accused me of lying. And his proof of me lying was just saying nuh-uh to every word I spoke. As I tried to explain where my mindset was when all of this happened. And he just...
Well, again, it's like, I feel like at that point it was too late because, like, again, look at SK's video where it's like Colin joins the call and he's laughing. And, like, you can literally hear Comic Legend being, like, legit pissed off. People in the call were like, yeah, Colin, get out. Like, no one wants you here. It's like, people were legit concerned about you because of what you did, and you fucked with their feelings. It's a miracle that these guys are friends with you still at all. It's like, yeah, I know a couple of them have cut ties with him. Like, I think SK and obviously... well, no, obviously SK did, but, like, I think Comic Legend has as well. But it's like, it's a miracle that there are people still on his side. It's like, what freaking good friends? It's like, if he did this to me, I would not be friends with him. Like, especially after, you know, what I've been through. I don't think it takes a genius to work out that you don't do this.
Decided to say nuh-uh to my feelings as if there's some objective measure to prove how I was exactly feeling and why one thing happened. But no, everything has to...
Well, again, it's like objective feelings. It's like, objectively speaking, you shouldn't do this to your friends. Like, I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Be some objective thing with SK, because he's never wrong, right? Unless he can literally be proven 100% of the fact, yup, this is wrong. And I have a whole recording of that conversation, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is in the description, where he wouldn't give me an ounce of good faith when I was trying to talk to him and explain this to him. And the funniest part about that recorded call is that SK will look at that recording and have zero self-awareness and say, yeah, I was being reasonable in that call.
After he leaves...
Well, it's like, can you really blame the guy? It's like, that's how you acted. It's like, I think SK was reasonable just showing up for that call. I wouldn't have even given you that chance. Like, I wouldn't have even shown up if you did that to me. I'd have just been like, alright, see ya. You're on Sunset Boulevard looking for a bus. Like, you ain't talking to me. Like, I think it's reasonable of SK to even, like, show his face and, like, give you any amount of his time.
I tell him this isn't funny, and everyone here is sick of him. I also told him that he made other people worried about this, such as TK, who sent Colin's tweet.
There's two ways this will handle. There's two ways this will go down. He will either own up to it, he'll ignore this, and maybe get cancelled.
Colin's entire...
He literally lies right here, keep watching. Bear me, I'll rewind it slightly. Tony Sonic, thank you for the $5. Colin's entire video is basically him saying it's just a prank, bro, and trust me, bro, for 36 minutes. Well, we're gonna have a lot to unpack then. Thank you for the donation, it really means a lot. It's going towards Colin's car.
Everyone here is sick of him. I also told him that he made other people worried about this, such as TK, who sent Colin's tweet that started all of this in a separate group chat that had 10 people in it. I had to tell them all not to criticize Colin because I believed he was considering taking his life. He proceeds to justify his actions and give an insincere and backhanded apology for it.
Wait, hang on, let me just reread this, hold on, bear me. Colin, you acted like a drunk dick shit, I put a Kratos gif, and people suicide, alright, bro, it can be over with. I'll never troll again. That's not good enough. My deepest apologies. Well, again, it's like... like, if you were genuinely sorry, why is that your... like, I'll move my camera so you can see his apology. Like, if you... like, I put more effort into my why is Sonic and Knuckles fighting? Wrong funny answers only community posts. Like, I put more effort into those than he does into his apologies. And the funny thing is that he could very well be genuine with his apologies. But again, it doesn't seem genuine when it's like 3 words long.
Actions and give an insincere...
Like, this is literally like fucking traditional YouTube apologies where it's like, I had a severe lapse in judgment. It's like, really? Like, that's the best you got?
backhanded apology for it.
I explained to SK that when I said in the...
Ooh.
Colin, SK, comic legend, and you all are terrible friends.
Thank you for the donation, but how are we terrible friends? Like, I was never friends with Colin to begin with. Like, at best, he was civil towards me during the one disagreement day I tuned into. Like, how are we terrible friends? I'd ask you to, like, join disagreement day and voice your opinions, but, like, I mean...
it just seems like someone's coping.
I mean, thanks for the money, I guess. But, side note for this community, SK's Project 06 or Colin's Marvel Rivals footage. Annoyingly, I'd probably say, I don't even know.
Considering taking his life. He proceeds to justify his actions and give an insincere and backhanded apology.
Hey, who the fuck donated again? I can't even fucking remember. Zone Body, thank you very much for donating. I'm gonna give the money to your boyfriend's car.
For it.
I explained to SK that when I said in the screenshot that he just showed, if you're actually upset, then, like, my bad. That part...
Well, again, it's like, going back to this, hold on. It's like, again, what is this apology? Like, seriously, like, if you're genuinely serious about apologizing, put more fucking effort in. Like, again, I don't, like, it's so hard to feel sympathy for this guy when it's like, and again, SK hits the nail on the head. My bad, this is such a backhanded apology. It is. It's like, it doesn't matter if Colin is 100% sincere with his apology. It's like, it doesn't seem sincere. And again, like, you guys are legit brain rot though, Colin get a job, how original. Literally didn't say that, but, you know. I think it's funny though, those memes are hilarious. Also, how are we brain rot? I'd love to hear a source for that.
Also, this is coming from the guy who's got an NFT profile picture. Yeah, I don't think you should be talking about brain rot.
Ban this guy? No, don't ban him. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's just, you know, he's just having a freedom of speech, so I can respect that. Even if he's talking bollocks. But it's like, again, Colin had the chance to apologize here, and he just isn't, like... It doesn't seem sincere. And that's the whole thing.
That he just showed, if you're actually upset, then, like, my bad. That part, I was being sincere.
Bankai. This apology.
This apology is Logan Paul levels of awful.
Yeah, it's literally an awful apology. Thank you very much for the $5, Bankai. You're making a habit of donating to me. Honestly, thank you very much. Means a lot.
I mean, honestly, this isn't even really coming
Brain
off
rot
much
is
of an
because saying
apology
the
anymore.
same joke over and over again. I mean, it isn't the same joke, though, because it's different gifs, and it's different context, and it's different ways of saying the joke. You tried.
And I was genuinely sorry. I explained that to him, too. He wouldn't accept
Also, it's not even a freaking joke. It's like, yeah, it's like genuine advice. Like, yes, he should get a job. Like, we all should. Like, it's not really, like, it is a joke, but it's also legitimately good advice that he's not listening to. It's like, that's him.
it. But the other part where I say, but damn, that shit was so obvious, was, in his words, just a deflection tactic, therefore...
Also, do you want me to prove, I'm gonna prove it to you right now, that, like, I'm gonna prove it to you right now, because you guys, like, fucking, he's just not getting this. Okay. You guys are gonna love this, are you ready? So, let's say, for the sake of argument, so Colin started his YouTube channel in January 2021, okay? Let's say, for the sake of argument, he worked only weekends, on minimum wage. Like, maybe, like, for 5 years, you know, he had his Saturday, he had his weekend job for a year, thought, fuck that, moved on to YouTube, okay? So, let's say, you know, 9 hours a day for the weekend, 18 hours, after tax on minimum wage, he earned $130 for the weekend. Okay, you guys are with me? So, oh, whoops, did that wrong. So, 52 weekends in a year, obviously, and 5 years he was working. Try and take a guess how much money he would have made from that if he worked 2 days a week for the last 5 years. $33,800 from working 2 days a week. In other words, he would have had enough money to fix his car and just straight up go out and buy another one. Just from working 2 days a week for the last 5 years. Now, again, let's say I'm being too harsh. Let's say for the sake of argument, he's only worked for 1 year. And let's be even more sincere and say that it's $120. You know, maybe, shit was going bad. Because, I mean, it is America. The inflation is very, very weird. So, let's say for the sake of argument, it's only 1 year. Oh, look. He would have had almost enough money to cover the car's, issues. 2 days a week is nothing. I'm sorry, at that point, that's just laziness. There's no excuse for this. And that's under the impression that he's on minimum wage. It's Colin is slightly stupid, but he's not, talentless. He could get a job that's above minimum wage, comfortably. But, again, it's his life, not mine.
The apology meant nothing, even though I tried to explain to him that I was being serious in my apology, and the other part of that sentence was me explaining why I did what I did. That didn't mean I wasn't sorry. But SK decides to say, nuh-uh, and then say, well, actually, Colin, most people don't apologize like that when they're actually sorry, buddy. As if there's some objective book for thee on how you need to give an apology that everybody needs to follow. But nope, if it's not in a way SK
Well, again, it's
it, then it's not real.
Well, again, it's you keep deflecting and saying oh, SK's in the wrong because he didn't, there needs to be an objective metric for apologies. It's mate, you didn't even acknowledge what you did wrong in that apology. All you said was, oh, my bad. What am I supposed to do with that? I can't even wipe my ass with that apology. Again, I don't even know. It's the apology that I made to Ultimate Joker was 5 paragraphs long. And I still didn't think it was enough by the end. No comment.
SK likes to continuously phrase this situation as, oh, Colin just suicide baited to avoid...
This is why I disagree with Rift about being a YouTuber can definitely be a sustainable job if you're careful and balance out everything. I mean, I agree with that, but it requires a hell of a lot of time and effort and quite a lot of luck. And it's that's not viable. Unless you, hit gold. It's it isn't viable unless you have those 3 things, and not everyone does.
Being criticized.
That's the bottom line.
He's technically right. I didn't really think of it like that at the time I was doing it. I more so thought of it as something that would make them either mad or a little worried. Just because they were pissing me off and continuing to pester me about something that I was clearly disinterested in talking about. Should I have done that? No. That was a mistake on my part. But this motherfucker treats me as some irredeemable monster because of this, and I still find it pretty funny at this point that he's still acting like this. And another thing,
well, it's you can't exactly laugh at someone for calling you an irredeemable monster when it's you have an opportunity to apologize and you sound so nonchalant about it. It's even even if you were genuinely sincere, it's it didn't come across as being sincere to the person that you offended, to the person you wronged, or to the group of people you wronged in this case. It's and again, you have this big tough guy persona. It's this is the wrong time to have it.
You think about it from my perspective.
It's so annoying because, I agree with some parts of what Colin's saying, but it's he's just not doing himself any favors. He's making himself look like a bellend over stuff that he's technically in the right for. So it's even in the best case scenario, he still doesn't come out of this looking good.
Right? If I was really doing this just to avoid criticism, quote unquote, or because I didn't want to take criticism, quote unquote, then why did I reveal I was joking instead of just running with the Sui thing? Mind you, I did it within I don't even know, 8 minutes. Why did I then join later to have an argument, to just finish off the argument because you still wouldn't leave me alone. Why did I join later to finish that argument? Doesn't make much sense to me. And another thing...
If notice he admits here he wanted to make us mad on purpose, so he expected us to believe him while saying he didn't. That's a fair point.
Like any other time we were ever in some kind of controversy or some shit, whether it be against someone else or between me and you, when have I ever not had a discussion or an argument or whatever about the criticism being given to me or you? Still doesn't make much sense, but whatever.
And then when I brought up other situations...
Again, it's just, like, so far at least, it's just blatant deflection. It's like, dude, you had an opportunity to, like, make a genuine apology. And you could have done it public, like, you could have at everyone on your server and said, like, yes, you don't worry about me, I'm not suicidal, like, I'm not in a good headspace, you know, I'm sleep deprived, it's not an excuse, no one has to worry about my safety, I'm gonna try fix my sleep schedule, and then we won't have a situation like this again. Like, again, that would have been much better. Like, they might not have forgiven you straight away. I wouldn't have forgiven you straight away, under the impression that I even give you my time and effort. But it's like, that would have been better. Especially if you're showing your apology in your own freaking video. Your own apology that looks, ironically enough, half-assed. I don't even know.
As I was dealing
Mango
with...
Fluid said this is apparently the part where he lies. Or something.
This part is where he lies. Okay.
Or whatever about the criticism...
This drama is so pointless. It's not pointless, it's to prove a point.
...being given to me or you. Still doesn't make much sense, but whatever.
And then when I brought up other situations I was dealing with...
Especially since, like, I actually have a degree of, like, a connection to Colin and SK, because Colin's channel helped inspire the content that I make on my channel. Like, I'm willing to bet that, like, 90% of people here wouldn't have heard of me if it wasn't for Colin. So it's like, I have a degree of respect for this guy, and it's why I'm so annoyed that he's just making a clown out of himself.
Whatever.
And then when I brought up other situations I was dealing with, one of which I had to make a video on because of how bad it was getting, my goal was to get him to understand the addition...
This onesie's, this freaking beanie is very warm, by the way. Like, my head feels like a freaking fireball.
Stress he was putting me on. I brought up to him that one of these situations involved a friend of mine being harassed, which nearly resulted in an actual suicide. He tells me I shouldn't consider that my problem, as if I shouldn't stand up for my friend in that situation. And he elaborates by asking why that would be put onto me if he actually did take his life.
Oh, I'm not gonna do anything, but I'm super sleep deprived, I'll come back when everything gets cleared up. But it's like, that still sounds like deflection, but it's like, I understand what you mean. It's like, it's still more than, like, one line.
I don't know, Colin. If you don't have people defending you when you're being harassed and thinking of suicide,
Why is bro talking about his beanie? Why the fuck wouldn't I? It took ages to arrive, I'm gonna friggin' talk about it.
Beanie.
It's my beanie, and it's a beanie that you all can get on my merch page.
It'd just be an obligation for your friends who know of...
get my beanie yet.
Yeah, proper beanie.
Yeah, twat beanie.
Yeah, mine hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah, it took a while for mine to arrive. I'm fairly certain it took like over a month because something went wrong. So fingers crossed it won't take that long for it to arrive, but you know.
Instead of, leaving you behind, just a thought.
I explained to SK in that call that I, keep referencing that's in the description, that I responded in this way because I interpreted as him trying to put those problems onto me when it had nothing to do with what just happened from my perspective. I admit I probably shouldn't have argued with him about it, like the other random shit he was bringing up.
Reptile's Kiwi. Same as always, she's just as amazing. Just as, very... Oh, I had an argument with her about anime. That was hilarious. It was basically everyone in the server versus me, because I just don't like anime all that much. It was fucking funny.
You don't like anime?
I felt like Darth Sidious, fucking just with lightsabers, just taking everyone on. But anyways.
Calling yourself Darth Sidious is
information that SK...
Yeah, no, I'm way better than Darth Sidious. Optimus Prime, there we go.
...shared about this whole distraight situation.
Oh wait, no, sorry, my channel's woke. Optimus Pride, there we go.
Is someone who both me and...
Transgenders, men in disguise.
SK no, DM'd Distraight, telling him that he saw his sex...
That is, to this day, that's still one of my favourite jokes from... I can't even remember where it's from. It could have been Ackman's channel. Like, to this day, that's still one of the best things I've ever heard.
in the SK video.
I can never watch Transformers again the same way.
And wanted to make sure that he was doing alright. Luckily, he seemed to be doing okay, and didn't seem to know what was going on, as he told me that he wasn't sure what he was talking about, you know, in reference to the video, because he was busy with, you know, real world. To clarify Borgie's exact wording here, I said the video, which is why he was confused, as Borgie was under the assumption that he knew already, and he later told him that SK had made a video on Nirvana, although he did not mention that Nirvana had brought up the screenshots again. So not only did SK overblow that situation that he was talking about, but the person that he was, you know, so worried about, and things of that nature, didn't even know what was happening. And SK brought him up in his video to play moral high ground over something without even asking.
It's like the only anime that I like is One Punch Man, because season 1 at least literally is like a satire of the whole like superhero anime like thing.
Go ahead.
So it's like I find One Punch Man season 1 at least to be like refreshing, and it's like really good.
Asking you straight if he was comfortable with still being involved in something like that. So not only did you do that, but you overblew something just to make me look worse. Nice.
After those ridiculous arguments, I really couldn't handle it anymore and just removed him after he left. He eventually proceeded to go to—
Notice how Colin, like, deliberately didn't include the freaking voice call in SK's video? Where it's like he joins the voice chat and he's, like, laughing at his friends who are very freaking concerned for his safety. It's like he's literally laughing at them, and like, why the fuck did you guys take that seriously? I find it pretty funny that he hasn't included that in his video, but...
a Discord server that I'm not in, which has over 130 people in there, most of which I don't know—
And that to me was one of the most disgusting things. The fact that you could make your friends, like, unironically, like, really freaking concerned about your safety, and then you join the chat and you're just laughing. It's like, it's just a prank, bro.
Trust, and proceeded to leak private DMs of us arguing about the subject afterwards, which ultimately doesn't share anything different from what we already know. The only thing it really shows us is that I'm not in any mood to voice chat with him, for very obvious reasons. I only found out about this leak through someone who wasn't in the group chat or involved in the situation, and someone Colin said he didn't even know was in the server. Clearly, Colin didn't care about the privacy of myself and others.
That moment when you realize that Pacific Rim is better than Attack on Titan.
He had no regard for random people grabbing those DMs and potentially spreading it to others, or leaking it publicly if they were in the mood. So because I wasn't interested in dealing with a messy game of telephone and random leaks about the situation, I decided to make a full thread with the evidence I just showed earlier, which I'll link in the description. And it's funny because beforehand, I specifically said that I will not reveal the details of why I cut ties with Colin, unless Colin breaches privacy on the matter, and he proceeds to breach privacy on the matter. In response to this, he proceeds to leak the DMs on his Twitter as if this helps his case at all, when reading the DMs only reaffirms what I already showed.
Or, clearly, as I explained to you, the majority of the people in that server didn't care, except for the people who already knew about it, and it was one person in that server out of 130, so I was basically right. That sense
Oh, I thought I heard
something to SK. And the thing I did send, which I will put on screen, in that server doesn't even make SK look bad. If anything, from his perspective, it makes me look bad. But SK wanted to overblow it and say, oh my god, my privacy was breached. I got a DM from one person. How could you do this, Colin? You know what? I'm telling Twitter, you're getting what's coming to you, Buster. Instead of just, you know, asking me about it before doing that. Like, oh no.
But I don't really know how you're in the right, considering, like, SK leaked public DMs between you and him, and you leaked his face. Like, I feel like, especially if the DMs that SK leaked were, like, made SK look bad. Like, unless I'm just misinterpreting that, but it's like SK leaked public private DMs, you leaked his face. Fairly certain you're not a moral saint with this situation, my guy.
Found out about a dispute we had in private that, from your perspective, does nothing but make me look bad. The horror. Like, yeah, I'm sure you getting that one DM from someone was a real mental detriment for you. A big mess.
Leaking someone's face is doxing. I don't think it's doxing by, like, the legal definition, but it's still a breach of, like, confidentiality. Especially if, like, that person in question, like, doesn't want their face to be, like, visible. It's like, you should respect their wishes. Especially if you, like, literally threaten, leaking their face as a form of getting leverage over them. It's like, that isn't what you do when you're, like, innocent. It's like, and again, Colin could have been in the right. Could have been innocent. But again, threatening to get leverage over someone is not what you do. That's not okay.
See, game of telephone. You totally couldn't have just told that person to not worry about it or ask me about it and moved on with your day. Oh, wait, I forgot SK already spent half of his day on Twitter already. And as for the reason I went ahead and just sent our DMs on Twitter, I showed the DMs to show the missing context that he didn't provide. Like me literally trying to talk to you and apologize and go over everything about the mistake that I acknowledged I made, but you didn't want to hear it. But no, remember, I wasn't giving him a sincere apology. I couldn't do that. Jarvis, pull up the screenshot of me trying to apologize to SK and have a talk with him. Also, Jarvis, try to explain to this moron that you can't prove someone's feelings wrong and just say nuh-uh and call them a liar when they're telling you that they were actually sorry when they said they were.
This is also linked in the...
But it's like, again, it's kind of... If you're referring to the apology that we saw earlier, it's like that apology was half-assed. And it's also very interesting that you're bringing up feelings, but it's like you... Literally the whole fucking... The situation about the Marvel Rivals, like, Jewish person getting offended by, like, the genocide name. It's like... Seems kind of, weird. And again, it's like, there's no objective way to measure feelings. Because at the end of the day, no two people are the same. It is up to you as a decent human being to understand that. And to have empathy for people. And to not judge two people the same. It's like... It would be like, Nirvana Mind. A situation that SK was involved with. It's like... Nirvana Mind, like, bullied someone for being autistic. And, like, they deliberately, like... I think autistic or dyslexic, something like that. And they literally bullied this person for shit that was out of their control. Like, they couldn't control... the whole, like, autism, dyslexia, you know, whatever it is. Again, that's not okay. You don't do that. You can't just lump everyone together and be like, oh, you're offended by this thing, that you're a pussy. It's like, okay, I'm fairly certain that, like, a Christian, an atheist, a Muslim, and a Jewish person, you could tell, like, a joke about, you know, what happened with the Holocaust. And chances are, only one of them is likely to get offended. Take a guess which one. Like, you can't just lump everyone in with like, oh, you shouldn't get offended. It's just feelings, bro. Feelings aren't objective. Yeah, come in. We'll get to the end of the 2-month Colin saga, 2-month SK saga, and then I'm gonna go get my cup of tea.
Description.
I am British after all, it's the law.
Want to check for yourself. Now, I've heard Colin has justified his behavior by claiming he was sleep deprived.
Arguing with me on this.
Jarvis riffed his work. I know, I have Friday in my Iron Man suits, thank you.
And I was awake for around 24 hours at the time trying to fix my sleep schedule. So I was awake for around 24 hours when this all started. So I was
As an autistic person myself, I get how it's hard to understand other people's feelings. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try. Yeah, exactly. It's like there've been instances where I thought that I'm autistic, and it's like I could very well be. It's like freaking Jacksepticeye wasn't diagnosed with his autism until like his late 20s, early 30s. It's like I could very well be autistic. It's like we're all on the spectrum, but it's like it is what it is. Like you just gotta have basic human decency and empathy to how people act, especially on the internet. It's like I understand, like, depending on your upbringing, it might be harder for you. Especially if you grew up in, like, a rough area. But again, it's like, there are standards on the internet. Especially with something like YouTube, where it's like, they have rules, and if you break those rules, they kick you off the freaking platform. They just delete your channel. They're like, alright, freaking go. We don't want you here. It's like, you need to be aware of that. Like, YouTube and, like, other places have standards. And if you can't abide by those standards, don't be surprised when shit, like, turns against you.
Kind of out of it, and funny enough, one of the symptoms of lack of sleep is actually impaired judgment, which is pretty funny.
You might need to rewind a bit, but Colin was the one who leaked the DMs in a private server. SK was not in, then that SK went to Twitter and shared what happened. I mean, it doesn't even fucking matter. SK found out because someone in the server DM'd him and told him Colin leaked it. I mean, it doesn't even fucking matter, but it is what it is.
with what everything I'm about to explain, but whatever.
Last I checked, sleep deprivation.
Well, again, sleep deprivation was the reason why you acted that way, but it's not an excuse. It just isn't an excuse. That's not how it works, dude. It's just so frustrating. It's like, I really like this guy, and he's just making himself look more and more like a bellend.
Doesn't make you avoid criticism by pretending to be suicidal. It's being morally bankrupt that does.
I mean, if you want to frame it that way, sure, go ahead, by all means, because I'm sure none of these proven symptoms had anything to do with how I acted in that situation. Totally couldn't have gone differently if I wasn't sleep deprived for around 24 hours.
So far,
Well, again, no one's denying the fact that you were sleep deprived, and no one's denying the fact that it didn't have an effect on your actions, because it probably did. But what you're not acknowledging is that it's not a justification. It's like, if you drink drive, like, you're still responsible. You can't just blame the alcohol. It's like, it would be like if you were to pew someone, and your defense was, oh, I didn't get them, the gun did. It's like, no, you're still responsible. Like, external factors do not excuse your behavior. That's not how it works.
it's not looking good for Colin.
And the fact that he keeps doubling down on this is freaking concerning.
Ooh, scary.
He thinks it's bad for someone to leave a video game when someone makes fun of the genocide of their people, all because they could lose a match. He thinks it's unreasonable for Jewish people to be upset over the Holocaust by removing themselves from situations that mock the Holocaust, all because World War II ended in 1945.
No, I just think you're being soft if you, willingly ruin the fun of other people who did nothing wrong by being willing to leave a game just because—
Well, again, it's like the person who left the game did nothing wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. They left the game, they left the situation that made them uncomfortable, they didn't escalate anything, and they likely went into another game session and forgot you existed like half an hour later. It's like, they didn't do anything wrong either, so it's weird that you're trying to frame it as if they did do something wrong.
And also the thing of ruining other people's fun, but like
the freaking—
you are clearly ruining their fun as well.
Yeah,
and
it's
also
like
they have no obligation to give you fun.
Yeah, it's like the freaking—
Like, you're not above them.
The freaking genocide comment, it's like, that ruined that person's fun. It's like, you're just not ignoring— and the entire reason they went to Twitter is because they wanted something done about it. It's like, they weren't saying, oh, Marvel Rivals is freaking anti-Semitic. No, they just requested, like, basic moderation. I think that's fair. They didn't do anything wrong either.
Of other people who did nothing wrong by being willing to leave a game just because you couldn't handle an offensive—
The guy who made the username did that to intentionally ruin the fun of Jewish people who would see that. I don't necessarily agree with that, because obviously it's like, they could have just, like, made the— I mean, actually, no. I think there's a difference between naming a character in a game like Adolf, for example, and naming a character like Jew genocide. Like, I think that in this particular example, yeah, like, they shouldn't have called themselves that name, and basic moderation should be in place. But what Colin's failing to acknowledge is that the person who left the game didn't do anything wrong either. The only person who ruined the fun in this situation, by Colin's logic, is the guy with the Jew genocide name. It's like, so Colin should be upset at that guy, because his actions caused the other guy to leave the lobby, which caused Colin's fun to be disrupted. It's literally a freaking triangle. Yet for some reason he's going after the wrong guy. It would be like if, let's say for the sake of argument, right? Imagine you see someone who is committing piracy, right? And they're selling illegal copies of films, like, let's say Avengers Endgame. It would be like if you saw this happening, and your reaction was to arrest the DVD player. It's like, the evidence is in front of your face, and you're going after the wrong thing. I don't understand.
Username online. I didn't say it was unreasonable, didn't say you couldn't be offended by it, but, keep lying, SK.
And instead of responding to criticism and allowing his mind—
But he literally said you can't— fucking hell. He contradicted himself. He said, I'd never said you couldn't be offended. It's like earlier on in the video, he said, yeah, you're a pussy if you got offended even in the heat of the moment. Like, you're soft if you got offended. Like, never mind. Colin is dumber than Under the Mayo, or To the Mayo's Arkham Knight review made more sense. Fucking ridiculous. Who's dumber, Colin, Harmon Smith, or Under the Mayo? It's very difficult to beat Harmon Smith. Like, Harmon Smith is just Harmon Smith is a Nintendo fanboy, and he has some of the most baffling takes on the fucking planet.
And he also changes his opinions after a few months.
Like, Harmon...
at this point, Colin's in a close second at this
point.
point.
Harmon Smith, unironically, was annoyed at Spider-Man 2 because it didn't bring back any of the Arkham villains, because he somehow thinks that it had Arkham combat. Like, he unironically got annoyed at the fact that Spider-Man 2, the game made by Insomniac Games, he was offended by the fact that Spider-Man 2 didn't bring back any of the Batman villains from Arkham Knight just because both games, quote-unquote, have Arkham combat. That is Harmon Smith's level of intelligence. Also, he thinks a Nintendo Switch outperforms a high-end gaming PC, but, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Be changed. He tries to anger his friends and pretend to be suicidal. He claims that he didn't think we would actually take it that seriously, but the messages earlier proved that we believed he was actually considering suicide, and he proceeded anyway.
It's almost like being sleep deprived and in an already...
Oh, shut the fuck up about the sleep deprived.
Well,
like,
if he brings
it literally...
up
Like, again, the sleep deprived is the reason you acted that way. It doesn't excuse what you did.
unserious moves can significantly...
Oh yeah, Harmon Smith unironically didn't know that Spider-Man lived in New York as well. That was freaking funny.
Impair someone's judgment.
Oh, and he also hates Miles Morales because of fucking course he does.
Judgment on something. That's a crazy concept. That
I'd be shocked if he didn't also hate MJ.
I don't know how long. When did they do that? It doesn't matter.
But of course, Colin couldn't help himself.
Harmon literally said he wouldn't support a game that had Miles in it. Yeah, that as well. Wait a minute, Batman villains in a Spider-Man game? Exactly. Like, that's Harmon Smith's intelligence right there.
To make himself even worse.
I think that was the first video that made me, that I legit rage quit. That's like one of the few videos on my channel that I've responded to that legit made me rage quit. As soon as I heard him say that, I'm like, alright, I'm tapping out. I'm done. You did not say.
Forgetting his biggest crime though, he doesn't like Pikmin 4.
Oh yeah, true.
Was that the video where I had that accidental cough feature in that video, or was that a different
Harmon Smith as a character at this point? Yeah, true. But anyways.
This event started off with Jack Kentner making fun of the fact that...
Oh, we're going into the car saga. With that being said, I'm gonna go and get a cup of tea, so I'll be right back. I'm also gonna go for a piss, because fuck... Actually, no, I'm not gonna go for a piss, fuck it. But I'm gonna go for a drink. I'll be right back.
Alright.
I reckon in this segment we're gonna get a Colin job announcement.
I can't wait for that dude with the NFT profile picture to come in and start complaining about the brain rot, Colin get a job jokes. If he's even still here, I don't know. Fucking hell, we've got 145 people here.
145, 137.
Oh, it says 145. Oh yeah, sorry, no, I had to refresh the chat. Echo, would you like a puffer beanie? Well, I would like my head to be not clogged up with absolute... I'm not gonna say that word. Just fat. There you go. Echo, tell Riff to let me in. Well, I kind of can't right now because he's kind of, you know, gone to have a drink. Or, I mean, he wasn't going to piss. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I decided not to go for a piss because, fuck it. I'll just piss myself, it'll be right.
I was about to say, try not to piss yourself.
Yeah, I'll literally just piss myself, it'll be right.
I mean, fair enough then.
I'll do less damage to my chair than Colin did to his car. Anyways.
I knew he was going to talk about
begging his fan base to pay him $7,000 for a car that he couldn't financially...
Y'all, I got cancelled on Twitter, but I was drunk, so I should be unbanned. Yeah, exactly, that's the kind of logic.
Sustain.
Alright, now we move on to something new. And this is my favorite...
Thoughts on Transformers 1? Actually pretty good. Not too bad. I don't mind it.
Part of the
Echo, would you like a puffer beanie? He probably would, just so... Because Echo wouldn't be able to see the puffer on his forehead.
Yeah, well, unlike Dead Cow, my forehead isn't like a 26 head.
Bitch.
Nah.
It's a
you
5
deny
head.
it. It's a fucking 55 head.
Yeah. So first of all, I could financially sustain my car.
Oh shit, hold on. Rewind this. This is the car saga.
Doesn't matter.
But of course, Colin couldn't help himself and had to make himself even worse. This event started off with Jack Kentner making fun of the fact that Colin is e-begging his fanbase to pay him $7,000 for a car that he couldn't financially sustain.
Also, there was a comment, I'm fairly certain, in somewhere where they said, imagine if Cliff Jumper in the Transformers live-action films was this car. I think that could have been pretty cool.
Alright, now we move on to something new, and this is my favorite part of the video. So first of all, I could financially sustain my car. I even
No, you fucking can't. You wouldn't be begging for money otherwise.
was spending more money than I needed to on my car just
Then you're a fucking idiot.
to get mods for it, because I had the money to do so. When I
A fucking car isn't PC gaming. You don't need mods for it.
first bought my car,
Also, I love
had
how he said he had the
24
money too, but then he clearly doesn't because he can't.
But well, hold on. He's gonna. This is a giant section, so.
like over $24,000 in my account, and my car was $13,200, and it was in great condition considering the mileage and the year it was made. I only put $6,200 as a down payment because it was smart to let that help me build my credit, and that still was a great move because my credit score is now over 700. It's almost at 800, and I didn't need to spend over half of what was in my account at that point just to get the car that I've wanted since I was, 8 years old. Now I've had my car for 7 months now, and it was still has been running completely fine with zero issues popping up. And during this time I had to pay taxes from last year that were a lot more money than I expected, and that took a lot of money from me. And I also had to start helping out my family even more financially than I did previously. And on top of that, I now had to pay for my car bill, gas, maintenance, and insurance. Someone
So basically, all of the stuff you have to pay for as an adult.
even slashed me and my mom's tires, so I had to pay like $800 for new rear wheels. And guess what? I was still perfectly fine with maintaining that car that I had financially. Only
Okay, so what went wrong? Why does bro need mods for his car to make the quality better? Beats me.
almost like it was still a perfectly fine financial decision that wasn't as dumb as these retards criticizing me think they know anything about. In the past 2 months, I've spent around $3,000 modding my car, under the impression that I'd still be fine financially, and I was still fine financially, until I unfortunately didn't check my car's oil level like I was supposed to, and my car's engine wound up breaking because of this. Now, the reason I didn't check this was because of 2 things. One, I was under the impression that my car would warn me of this, because your car fucking warns you of literally basically everything that could be wrong with it. Even if there's not something wrong, sometimes it tells you. So I didn't check it manually, thinking I would get, a warning. And my car's oil life sensor that it has like built into the computer or whatever on the dashboard, the oil life sensor said it was at 33%. I was later told that oil life sensor doesn't mean, how much oil is in the thing. And because even though I thought it did, and that was my mistake, I was unaware of that. The second reason I didn't check my oil manually is because when I first bought the car, it had just gotten an oil change. Therefore, it wasn't due for an oil.
I want to point out that if what he's saying is true, I don't think Colin was in the wrong for this. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you have to learn something. You have to learn shit the hard way sometimes. It's like, it is what it is. It's like, I don't think Colin was an idiot for not checking his, Wait, what did you delete? Colin has no right to call anyone... Yeah, exactly.
Someone put in the R word. I just wanted to be safe.
Well, no, it's Malik. He's a regular in the streams. And at the end of the day, he didn't, spell it out word for word. I know what you meant.
Yeah. Just wanted to be safe.
But, yeah, I don't think Colin was an idiot for not checking the oil. The oil is something that typically gets serviced in a car, and usually it's like a yearly thing. For me, it is, anyways. So it's like, I don't think he was an idiot. These things do happen. Typically, there's only, 3 things you need to do to maintain a car. The first one is clean it, but that's optional. The second one is inflate the tires every now and then, and the third one is obviously fill it up with fucking petrol or diesel. But it's like, it's just one of those things that you learn the hard way. He's learned it, It's like a mistake you only make once. Like, for example, putting diesel in a petrol car. It's like, that's a mistake you only make once. So I don't think Colin was in the wrong for this.
Oil change for another 5,000 to 7,000 miles. And when my car did run out of oil, I had only driven it around 2,400 miles or so, which was way faster than it was supposed to. The reason for this is likely because a lot of the miles that I put on my car were spent going between 60 and 120 miles per hour. I mean, I even did a road trip.
Fucking hell, that's fast.
Where the
in New
fuck
York,
are you
to
driving?
and from New York, actually, which was like an hour and a half where I was basically doing 100 the whole time up and down. But I was unaware doing shit
Not
like
even
this
in the
would make my
fucking
car
speed
burn
limit.
oil as fast as it did. I knew it wasn't the best thing you could do for your car to, keep it in, as the best condition possible, but plenty of people do what I do, especially people with, the same kind of car as me, a muscle car. Like, most Hellcats don't break because they were beating on it too much. Most Hellcats break because their owners crashed them. But, like, honestly,
I would point out that the car he has isn't a Hellcat. He has a Chevrolet Camaro, not a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Friendly reminder that a Hellcat is, like, way fucking pricier.
serious note.
Especially brand new.
I'm not saying none of this was my fault, but it's a little hard to prepare for something you don't even think is going to happen. It's like...
That's why you plan ahead. Like, you plan ahead. It is what... Like, plan ahead. That's what you do. Plan. Say,
Wait, hold on.
put some money aside for a rainy day.
Where did he say he was doing 100 miles an hour again?
Like going like on road trips and stuff, like to and from
so he's
New
also
York.
just speeding then.
Well, no, it is what it is. But like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't fucking know. It's like, but either way, it's like, it's hard not to feel sorry for him. It's hard to feel sorry for him for it. Sorry, when again, it's like. This was such an easily preventable scenario. It's like, you buying... It's like, you could have just not bought... It's like, I don't even, think it's his fault for buying an expensive car, because it's like, okay, who the hell cares? We all do it. He had the money, he bought a car, it is what it is. He bought mods for it, again, who cares? He was financially okay, according to him, so fair enough. But it's like, again, only do that if you're financially secure. Like... It's like, to put it into context for me, it's like, I've currently got an issue with one of my car's tires. It's not holding air as well as it used to, and I'm gonna need to replace those tires at some point. Not even fucking worried. Like, I couldn't care. I'm like, okay, it's annoying, however much it is for wheels. Financially, though, doesn't bother me. It is what it is. Because it's like, prepared for this situation. It does eventually happen, and you will occasionally encounter scenarios that you aren't prepared for. They come out of the blue. It is what it is. You do need to plan ahead, though. And again, it's like, as I showed earlier, if you worked 2 days a week on minimum wage, for a whole year, you would have an additional, 6 or 7 grand. Like, this was such an easily preventable thing.
Like, imagine if you own a house, right? And a component of that house, costs a lot of money. And you didn't know that you had to check up on that thing that often. And then that thing winds up breaking because you didn't know you had to check on it that much. And you were under the impression that, I guess your house code or something would tell you, even though that doesn't really happen. But you get my point. And the worst part about this is the fact that I was going to get an oil change in another 100 miles or so, which was even earlier than I thought I would even need to. But at least now, I guess, I know to check my oil more often. Sucks I had to learn it in the way that I did, but, I know now. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he learned it the hard way, it is what it is. It's like, I don't think he's an idiot for that. It's like, sometimes you have to learn shit the hard way. It is what it is.
After I was told that my car's engine was broke, I was also told that it was going to cost upwards of $7,400 to fix. And like it would do to most people, that number coming at me randomly made my financial situation really bad in an instant. And due to the fact that I will probably have to get a loan to be able to still pay bills and, live as an adult, I will have to add another $7,400 onto my car payment that still has $6,000 left on it. And you know what my crime was in this situation? Telling my audience about what happened and asking for help if anybody wanted to. I didn't ask for anyone in specific or anyone in general to literally...
Echo, can you tell Rift about Kronos' message? Wait, what happened? I didn't know that, I didn't know that going 100 mile an hour would break my car because it's a muscle car. Well, because the thing with muscle cars is that generally what they're designed for is quarter-mile drag races. It's long distance in a muscle car, especially one for a relatively cheap price, 13 grand, I think is what he spent it on. You're asking for trouble. Let's be honest. Especially if you're relatively inexperienced like Colin, and like he doesn't know, you know, about like the oil sensor in his car, for example. But it's like, again, muscle cars aren't Grand Tourers. They're not designed for continuous long-distance use. It's like 100 miles in a Grand Tourer, like a Bentley Continental or, you know, an Aston Martin DB11. It's a walk in a park. But, like, a muscle car would struggle with that, especially because muscle cars aren't very fuel efficient. You go long distance in a muscle car, it's gonna cost you in fuel. Especially with prices in fuel nowadays. Like, it's insanity. And again, it's some... anyways.
Give me $7,400. All I did was say, hey, I got fucked. If anyone wants to help, here's how you can do it. And this turned into people, mostly from SK's community, telling me things like, get a job, as if I don't already have one, which was literally the reason I was even able to buy and sustain my fucking car. Or...
Well, again, it's like buying the car was something you were able to do with your job, but it's like sustaining it. It's like, again... Most shit with your car you probably could have avoided, but it's like, let me show it to you again. So, let's say for the sake of argument, he does 3 days a week on minimum wage. So, hold on. So, 3 days a week, so it's, what is it? Let's say for the sake of argument, it's $210 a week after taxes. Actually, no, we'll be generous, like 200. So, 52 weeks in a year. And let's say, for the sake of argument, he's only worked for 1 year. He would have more than enough money to cover this issue. Like, he would cover the issue and still have, like, over nearly $3,000, sorry. For bills and all the rest, or, like, holidays, or fuel, or whatever else. And that's under the impression it's 1 year. Let's say, for the example, it's 2 years. Double the money. Let's say, for the example, it's 4 years. Oh wow, double the money. It's like, it's so hard to feel sorry for him in this scenario when, again, let me show you this again. Working 2 days a week for 5 years. The 4 years that he's had his channel, plus an extra one. Again, this situation was so easily avoidable. Like, it's so hard to feel sorry for him. It's like, yes, I'm sure that Colin earns a lot of money from YouTube. Way more than I do. But again, it's clear that he didn't do everything in his power to avoid a situation like this. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, if he worked 2 days a week on minimum wage... he would have been fine. But anyways.
You bought a shitty car, or you're trying to scam people, or you broke your car by being stupid and modding your car. These people are trying to tell me...
Muscle cars are made for bragging rights, they're not good for long use. Yeah, it's like, they look great, and they're fast as fuck in short bursts, but it's like, they're not the best choice for like an everyday car. It's like, I understand that it's Colin's dream car, and I don't, you know, I don't think that he was a dumbass for buying a muscle car. But it's, especially if it's his dream car, but again, like, he could have done more to prevent this situation.
What I can afford and what I did to my car while simultaneously not knowing shit about my situation or even knowing the slightest bit about how modding cars work. But no, I'm a terrible person just for asking if anyone could help in any way if they could. Even though thousands of other YouTubers and streamers constantly tell their audience, hey, if you want to support me a bit further, sub to my Twitch or become a YouTuber.
This is the message that Malik was talking about. There's only one singular road in the entire United States that was designed for cars to do 100 miles an hour. Admitting to going up to 220 on roads is pretty bad. Wait, is that actually the case? Let me just Google that. I'm not accusing you of being a liar, I just want to show it.
I looked it up before. I found
United
was the highest result I found for a currently existing one was like 85 or something.
100. Again, I'm not accusing you of being a liar, I just want to show it to the stream. That's now roads. Again, it's Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt, but... So it's like, most of the things that I'm looking at here is like 70, 80, 55, 45, 75, 80, 85, 75, 75. Not 120, that's for fucking sure. Victory speed limit. Federal Highway Trust Fund states that the speed limit's above 55 from 1978 to 1995. Federal law allowed speed limits up to 65 on rural interstates. Mississippi allows speeds up to 80 miles an hour on toll roads, but no such roads exist. Again, 120 miles an hour is crazy.
Yep.
But, anyways. Especially in a car that is not at all made for long distance, and it's not in the slightest, like, fuel efficient. Like, he is gonna, he's gonna burn through fuel, like, the fuel prices is gonna burn through his bank account.
YouTube channel member or become a Patreon member, even when they are not financially fucked. But I doubt you run around saying they are e-begging or telling them to get a job or implying they're a bad person for asking for extra support to anyone that, you know, wants to and can help. Like, you people are so fucking brain dead, and to the few—
Well, again, it's like people clown on Darkside Phil for, like, making a shit ton of money, yet he still begs people for fucking money. And it's like, it's again, it's very like, I don't think asking your community for help is a bad thing. But again, like, let's say for the sake of argument, right? Two things go up the same day, okay? Colin makes his post about his car breaking down. It's a fairly pricey car, like, it's over 10 grand. You know, it costs a shit ton of money to help fix it, okay? I put up a post where it's like, okay, my family member is desperately ill, weeks to live at most, and I need help covering, like, the hospital bills. It's like, which one are you going to support more? You know what I mean? It's like, even if I was able to financially cover the hospital bills, it's like, it's more of an urgent situation. It's more of a serious situation. It's like... Anyways.
people that have sent me something to help in any way they could.
Also, can I just point out that if I ever have the misfortune for that to happen in my life, and you guys genuinely donated to cover hospital fees, like, I think that would just overwhelm me. I think I'd just break down crying in happiness, but anyways.
I appreciate you guys a lot.
That may actually restore my faith in humanity if you guys were to do that, but it is what it is. I hope it never happens.
Just don't be a Darkside Phil.
Yeah, it's like fucking Darkside Phil. It's like he begs his fucking community for money so his, like, wife... So him and his fiancée can get married, and then it's revealed that he spent, like, what, 100 grand on a freaking phone game? Like, he's such a joke. Yes, that did happen.
Well, if you ever need donations, Riff, just know I'll be there to help you.
Don't be in under the mayo. Oh, yeah, sorry. If you guys donate, like, what is it, like, $500 to charity, I'll be able to afford a PlayStation 5 Pro.
If you send $500 to charity, Rift will play Doom Eternal. That's definitely not a lie.
Mate, if you guys donated 500 quid, I would play Doom Eternal. Like, seriously. And I'd enjoy it as well, because Doom Eternal's pretty, like, it's not really my kind of game, but it's still pretty fun.
Understand about my financial situation is being a YouTuber, my income is inconsistent. Most of the months I make perfectly fine money to handle what I need to handle in my, daily life. And a lot of my money was also being saved so that I could eventually move out in the next year or two, because my mom is essentially, making me get out within that time period. So now with this happening, it makes it much harder to, save money for my future.
Keep in mind that Colin...
It's like Colin himself literally admits, it's like, yeah, some months he does better than others financially. It's like, it's not consistent. There are times where he has good months and times where he has bad months. It's like, there's been times on my YouTube channel where I've made, like, over, like, £500 in a month. But it's like, those are very few and far between. Most months, like, I'm lucky to get, like, 200, 300. It's like, And I understand my channel is fucking tiny in comparison to Colin's, but the point still stands. Colin himself acknowledges that YouTube is fickle. It is not stable and it's not consistent. And it's like, to compensate for those months where you're potentially getting fucked, he could have worked like a weekend job. He could have. But anyways, what's done is done, I guess.
Colin doesn't actually need this car for work because
Here
YouTube
comes
is a
the
source of
500. Bro, you guys really want me to play Doom Eternal, huh?
income, so this isn't a necessity for him, nor a contributor to his work, and is more so just a privilege for him. So this resulted in a running joke where
Wait, shit, hold on. I was taking a drink from my cup of tea, I kinda like missed that.
work because YouTube is his source of income, so this isn't a necessity for him, nor a contributor to his work, and is more so just a privilege for him. So this resulted in a running joke where people on Twitter would tell Colin to get a job.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like he didn't even need the car to commute to work, because it's like he consistently tells people, it's like, no, YouTube is my job. So it's like, the car doesn't even make getting to and from work any easier.
It started hashtag Colin get a job, and the stream
Fuck weekend, do part-time, weekend is pocket change now. Well, again, it's like I literally proved earlier, like, even if you worked minimum wage, like 2 days a week, he would still have had a lot of extra money that would have covered, you know, bills, fuel prices. Not a lot of money, make no mistake. Like, maybe between, like, 5 to 10 grand in a year, if you're lucky. But it's like, it's still extra money from not that much extra work.
of memes it created is honestly hilarious, so
And it's
I'm
like,
just gonna
it wouldn't-
link the hashtag in the description.
It's like, it wouldn't even, like, negatively affect his channel that much, because it's like, what, you're getting, like, 5 days holiday, like, every week? He'd still be able to do disagreement days. He'd still have a lot of time to work on videos. It's like... I don't know. But anyways.
description too. I will also link Jack Kentner's video on the matter that talks about the
That fucking thumbnail is great.
car situation itself in more detail, and why it's really stupid to send Colin money in this situation.
Oh, really, SK? I was unaware that you know what I do outside of YouTube, or, you know, when I'm not talking to you, what I do in, you know, the real world. I totally don't use my
Well, the one thing we all agree that you don't do is go to work.
car to do, you know, basic adult things that everybody has to do, and,
Oh, you mean like going to work?
you know, help out
Yeah,
around the
unlike being,
house,
you know,
or to help
employed.
my sister get to and from work, so that she can also buy her own car and help, you know, help out our family and, you know, move out herself.
But if that's the
Well,
case,
you know,
why
he would know what work is
hang-
like.
Hang on. If that's the case, why the fuck did you buy a muscle car? Like, why would you not buy like a fucking Land Rover or Range Rover or something? Or a freaking hatchback?
Or even just like a Honda Civic or something.
Yeah, like a freaking shitty car that gets from A to B and B to A without breaking down.
And will cost a
mom
tenth
makes
of
us-
the price to maintain.
Yeah, it's like... I feel like, honestly, I feel like this entire situation could have been avoided if he just waited, like, 1 or 2 more years to buy the fucking Camaro. Like, I feel like the entire situation would have, like, not even happened.
Just move out in the next year or two. And I totally wasn't considering for a while.
Why didn't he buy her a car? I mean, it's not up to Colin to buy his sister a car. Like, I feel like that would be the sort of shit that you'd expect, like, fucking... Maybe not Donald Trump, now that I think about it, but it's the sort of thing that you'd expect, like, a family as rich as the Kardashians, for example, to do. You probably wouldn't expect them to do it either, now that I think about it. But you know what I mean, it's like people with a lot of extra money,
You
like,
wouldn't expect
buying other
any
people
fucking
cars.
celebrity to do that.
I don't know. You could possibly do. I mean, buying someone a car is not the end of the world, but it's like you shouldn't expect someone to do it. Like it's, you know, it is what it is.
A second job, and even to this day, considering that same thing, even before this happened, which is now basically off the table to, you know, a lot of places of business due to the fact that I don't have a working car currently. But it's nice to see you assume that I don't need it for anything other than joyriding, I guess. And I don't even know if you knew this or not. You probably didn't because you're a fucking moron. Every car is a privilege, quote unquote. Nobody objectively needs a car.
So why did you buy yours? It's like you can't make these arguments. Like, it just sound hypocritical. If no one objectively needs a car, then why did you buy yours? Oh, fucking, yeah, it's because it's the car you wanted, but it's like... Oh, dear.
There are
And also
other
the
methods of
difference between just like something being a like privilege and it like having a luxury one, because like a lot of people just straight up wouldn't be able to even afford the car he has in the first place.
on. Every car is a privilege, quote unquote. Nobody objectively needs a car, as there are other methods of transportation. Except the reason everyone wants a car is because it allows a lot of things in their life to be easier. It's also much cheaper than a lot of other methods of transportation. And it's so funny that you stoop so low that this motherfucker is recommending Jack Kentner videos. Like, are we serious right now?
On that
I mean, to be fair, say what you want about Jack Kentner, but, like, during the shit that I had with Ultimate Joker and, you know, Rezikin and, fuck's he called again? I can't even remember. But, like, the freaking live stream on League Entertainment and SK's channel, Jack Kentner, I don't agree with him on much. Especially the whole, you know, whether or not, you know, child on doing the deed to that makes you a pedo. It's like, I don't agree with him on his take on that, but it's like, he was relatively chill. He may be, you know, I disagree with him on stuff, but again, he's chill. Or he was chill to me, at least.
same community post, he's cool with mocking the criticism towards him that he's suicide baited to avoid criticism, which goes to show that he isn't actually sorry despite insisting he was.
First of all, no shit, I'm mocking it because this guy, unlike you, got the fact that this Mario image was an obvious joke and I wasn't being serious. And why the fuck would I?
There are people who can't physically get to work walking, so he's objectively wrong. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know. A quality car is 2 to 5k at best. A muscle car is useless. And well, I mean, like my car is, like, you could buy my car for like $3,000, like a second-hand one, but like in good nick. And it's like, I would never consider my car to be the best thing in the world. Like, if it was any slower, it would be going backwards. And as I said earlier, I'm having an issue with the tires. But it's still a reliable car. You know, small, light, good fuel efficiency. Job done, you know. I'm not gonna have that car forever. Maybe in 5 years' time I'll have something different. But you gotta start small and build your way up.
I be sorry anymore about something that you wouldn't give me an ounce of good faith on. And now the fact that we aren't even fucking friends anymore? You fucking dumbass, what the fuck makes you think I'm still sorry?
The get a job memes on Colin kept spreading and spreading. Even his own Discord server was making—
Well, again, like, hang on, let me just go back to what you said.
Got the fact that this Mario image was an obvious joke and I wasn't being serious. And why the fuck would I be sorry anymore about something that you wouldn't give me an ounce of good faith on? And now the fact that we aren't even fucking friends anymore? You fucking dumbass, what the fuck makes you think I'm still sorry?
The get a job memes on—
Again, it's like, it sounds like...
It's meant to be an apology video, though. What?
Again, the freaking tough guy persona is just so out of place right now. It's like, I don't know.
What? Oh my god.
Like, I appreciate the fact that...
It's pretty clear to me Colin got his response lessons from Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Disrespect literally says, were there inappropriate messages between me and a minor? Yes. And he somehow, like, still thinks that he can bounce back from that.
Oh yeah, and
Colin
his
kept—
response during his stream was even shittier.
I'm not
Like,
surprised.
he was doubling down, fucking pointing fingers at other fucking things. It was... Yeah, that's what. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this fucking response
spreading and
video.
spreading. Even his own Discord server was making fun of him for it, and it spawned many arguments with his own fans, which led to some very revealing things about him. Someone alleged that Colin said he would rape Sydney Sweeney, and his response to that was that if he ever did say something like this and it was taken seriously, then this person's a moron, because apparently it's stupid to call out—
No, I mean, he didn't call him a moron, he said you're, restarted. That's what he specifically said. I didn't name a rival group, so once again, you don't know what you're talking about, the situation at all. Well, it's like... Hang on a second. That's actually pretty interesting. So, Colin, if there was nothing wrong with the whole Jew genocide thing, then why are you, like, trying to keep that away from yourself. Like, I didn't name a group Jew genocide. Once again, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, why even acknowledge that at all if there was nothing wrong with it? If I ever said the N-word, it's because the person I'm saying it to knows it's either a joke or not meant to be taken seriously. Or you could just be me, where I just don't say the word at all. That it was an option available to you.
I feel like it's not particularly hard to just not say it. I mean,
Didn't you watch this before? No, I watched SK's video. This is Colin's response to SK.
About disgusting comments like this about people. What this communicated to me at the time is that, at least on a moral level, Colin supports sexually harassing actresses by saying he'd rape them.
Colin, you're a snowflake and you're soft if you get offended by the Jew genocide name. Also, Colin, the Jew genocide name had nothing to do with me. Why are you accusing me of this? Interesting.
He publicly tells people if that they hear...
It's almost as if he acknowledges that the genocide thing is bad, and he's like, yes, Colin is in the right by saying that it had nothing to do with him. But it's like, why would you even need to point that out? Like, surely it should be freaking obvious.
Comments like this and take that seriously, they're the idiots.
He says the N-word.
Here. He also tried to defend himself on Twitter.
It's neither here nor there.
Saying it's private and that they're
I'm not doing the Trump impression again.
So it's possible that he might have a code against public remarks like this,
Yeah,
but
do
is
a
cool
Biden
with it in
impression.
private, which means...
I'll do a Biden impression. There we go.
You have to talk
that while
softly
he may
and
not support
barely
sexual
make a full
harassment, he
cohesive
definitely
sentence.
supports
No, I did a
disgusting
Biden impression, I fell over.
comments about
I
people.
thought you were saying you
as
fell
long as
asleep.
they're not
No, I fell over while sitting down. It's like when you trip over thin air. Like, how do you manage that?
Hold on, no.
Not
He goes
like
to
that's a
sit
glaring
down,
distinction
but
either.
he
Now, I
misses
may
his
be a
chair
little
and falls on
crazy
the floor.
Yeah, I sit down and my fucking skeleton shatters under the weight of me sitting down.
here, but I don't think many
It's
people
like
would
fucking Johnny Storm from Deadpool Wolverine.
be comfortable with others talking about raping them
God
behind
damn
closed
it.
doors.
I've just become a freaking puddle on the floor. Fucking slurp me up like a milkshake.
Jokes or not.
Would rather
Because
not.
if you were to say that
what?
Let's just ignore that. That could be so bad out of context.
Hey,
Oh,
according
I'm
to
taking it out
Deadpool,
of context.
I mean, it is what it is, to be fair.
according
Dr.
to
Disrespect
Deadpool,
is the
he's
worst
just a
person to
flesh
take advice from. Yeah, he literally apologizes whilst acknowledging that he sexted minors. Like, what a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, no shit. That was the point I was trying to get at.
He's gonna destroy his own channel. It's like watching It's like watching Flash season 7. Yeah, true. I feel like Colin should be in jail. I mean, again, like saying that it's a joke. It's like, he wasn't serious. But again, it's like, why would you say this stuff?
kind of stuff to their face, that qualifies as sexual harassment. And seeing that he's not denying the accusation for having said those things, he seems totally okay with letting the world know that he makes those kinds of comments and remains proud of it.
Or, you know, it just means that I'm fine with most things said, fucked up or not, so long as it's not serious. And as long as something like that isn't directly said to someone, like, what? You can say it's a fucked up thing to say, but calling someone a terrible person because they said something in private that wasn't even serious is stupid to me. And you used to hold that same exact standard about fucked up things said in private until the past couple days ago, because you want to smear me as much as possible and try to play this whole morally superior game. Why don't you show people the
I think he did, though, did he? Like, SK has always been, like, more... I don't want to say conservative, that's not the right word, but it's like, SK... Like, from the way he portrays himself in videos to the way he talks, like, in VC, it's like, SK seems way more, like, not as offensive as Colin. I don't know about that one, Chief.
recording of the call we had after people started calling me racist over jokes, where you had that same standard and you explained that in that same call. And if you want to magically hold that standard all of a sudden...
Like, if it was someone like JP, it's like, I'd understand, because JP genuinely doesn't give a shit about anything. He's funny as fuck. But it's like, SK...
Hey, look, comment legends in the video.
I sure hope that there aren't multiple videos on my PC right now of one of your friends saying a lot of fucked up shit. And if you ever do force my hand to release those, I sure hope you hold the same standard for him, and that goes for the rest of SK's community as well. And the funniest thing about this is it reminds me of another quick dispute that was resolved in like 1 minute between me and someone who SK both know, who I will not name, again, because he probably doesn't want to be involved in this, or it's another person that probably doesn't want to be involved in this. And your boy Comic Legend was there for this too. But I made made a sexual assault joke about not a specific person, but just the concept in general. And this person, who I will not name, told me he wasn't comfortable with those jokes because he went through something that had to do with SA. I told him I'm sorry, and we moved on with our day, and we're still friends because, you know, he knew I was joking and just set a boundary. Crazy how reasonable and quickly things can be solved when you're not a little bitch about something and don't immediately resort to moral high grounding and calling someone a terrible person. And I like how he...
So why didn't you do that for the guy who got offended by the Jew genocide joke? They were they were offended by what was said. They did the right thing, and you're portraying them as being in the wrong for doing so. Could it be that you have a double standard? Just like.
Can I just say, it's a lot more easier to sound convincing with your apology through actually physically talking to them than through text.
Yeah, it's like,
especially when you're especially when you're messaging them saying 3-word apology.
Hey,
like, that's not very convincing.
Hey, Goji Chronics in the chat. Whole situation seems like you're bad, you did this kind of bad, downright childish. Yeah, I agreed. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, but, anyways.
He says,
yeah, for some reason we're still not done with this video yet.
Chronic, do you have any more videos in the work, my guy?
Those comments and is proud of it, as if it's some Medal of Honor badge I hold on my shirt. Again, just to frame me as bad as possible. I didn't deny it and said I'm fine with jokes in that context that I just talked about earlier, and I never said I was proud of the jokes or that everyone should be okay with these jokes. I just explained that it's a kind of joke that me and many other people who find fucked up but unserious shit funny, we are allowed to laugh at and make those kinds of jokes, while still being able to acknowledge it's something fucked up. But we're not a terrible...
So why aren't you doing that for the fucking, like, jokes about the Holocaust that people were offended by? Apparently people shouldn't be offended by that, according to you, because it ended, like, 80 fucking years ago. It's like, earlier on in this video, it's like, you literally said, like, yeah, you were a snowflake, you were soft, you were a little bitch in the heat of the moment because you let something like that offend you. But now, all of a sudden, you change your tune and you say this.
Other people who find fucked up but unserious shit funny, we are allowed to laugh at and make those kinds of jokes, while still being able to acknowledge it's something fucked up. But we're not a terrible person for this kind of thing.
Can you imagine?
It just seems blatantly hypocritical to me. Ooh, Goji Chronic, is that a Ben 10 video by any chance? Cartoon Network? I automatically think Ben 10.
For a second, if Colin were to make fun of the death of a family member, and his response to being caught for that was, well, it was in private and it was a joke, so it's okay for me to do that. I really don't think that's gonna fly with most people.
Well, I would probably apologize if confronted by the person being joked about, or someone affected by said joke, but people make jokes about shit like 9/11 and other horrific events. That doesn't mean they're terrible people, and it doesn't mean they actually believe the thing they're saying, or they are serious about it. This motherfucker is-
Well, again, it's like, you can make a joke about whatever you want, but it's like, that doesn't mean, like, you can make a joke about 9/11, but it's like, if someone gets offended by that, like, that's their business. It's like, you can't then say that they're soft or they're like a snowflake for getting offended by that. It's like, again, have an ounce of, like, empathy. Is SK playing Project 06 or original? He's playing Project 06, it's just that his gameplay is very pixelated. I promise you it is Project 06, like, I've noticed it. Like, I've played Sonic 06 a little too much, and I've played Project 06 quite a lot. I can tell the difference.
Like, you didn't have, like,
and it
top
doesn't mean they
100 star
actually
like you do
believe
on
the thing
Focus.
they're saying, or they are serious about it. This motherfucker is acting like Sydney Sweeney came to me and I told her to get over it. Like, no, it was a bunch of random people. What a dumbass false equivalency.
Now at this
So the fact that it was a load of random people makes it okay? Question mark?
Like, his logic
It's like,
is just...
it's like your entire community is a bunch of random people. The same can be said for me. It's like, that quote-unquote bunch of random people is literally paying for your bills. And paying by watching your video. Like, those random people watching your content is also the same people where your money is coming from. To buy your car, to sustain your car. Or not sustain it at this point in time, but you know what I mean? It's like, just referring to just random people. Oh, wow. I think Doctor Who said it best. I've never met an unimportant human.
At this point, there was so much we were making fun of Colin for, and with each new low Colin would reach, the next never surprised us. Though, I'm going to discuss a part of this where I actually did make a mistake and step too far. One of Colin's former close friends, the Witness, decided to take advantage of the fact that there was a massive session where Colin was being clowned on, even by his own server. He decided to fabricate a story where Colin—
Yeah, Project 06 also runs really well. Like, even on the Steam Deck, it runs really fucking well. It's like Project 06 and Sonic Unleashed recompiled are like some of the most fun I've had on my Steam Deck.
Was drunk and dropped his cat over and over again and
accidentally
killed it.
Oh, recompiled is night and freaking day. Like, you'll never go back.
Hesitant to
Oh,
believe
you
at
don't
first
take
because
save
he-
file over or not.
Project 06.
I think it does.
There are times
I think
like-
it does take the save file over because it uses the same like ROM file or whatever it is
Alright,
that
I
you
do
use
have
for
one
Xenia.
mild complaint for Sonic Project 06.
Yeah, go on.
I'm experiencing areas that cause severe like frame drops. Like
Yeah, Project 06
Yeah,
is
with the-
not perfect. The only frame issues that I seem to have are in the mock speed sections, but it's like even then, it's like it's not like awful.
Yeah, for me,
but
like,
but they are noticeable. I will give you that much.
yeah, the horrible frame drop it's at its worst in the aquatic base.
Really? I've never had an
Really,
issue with
that's
aquatic
where
base.
that's where I'm experiencing the worst frame drops.
I think it's mostly just the Crisis City mock speed section that really fucks me up. But again, it's like you can alter your graphic settings. It's like you'll be right.
He has been caught lying many times in the past, specifically about—
Which one do you prefer, Recompiled or Generations remake of Unleashed? Probably Recompiled, to be honest. Like, Unleashed with Generations physics just feels clinical. It feels safe. Like, you've gotta have Unleashed physics. You've just gotta.
what he does for a living and how accomplished he actually is. He was also an alleged felon, though he shared documents indicating that he wasn't actually convicted. We specifically required video evidence—
Yeah, so what they're talking about is the whole oh, he has 69 rings, nice. It's the whole narrative of Colin supposedly killing his cat. Now, this is not true. This has been debunked. So, again, don't think that Colin did this, because he didn't.
evidence for that reason and not just a screenshot. On one hand, we didn't want to accept screenshot evidence because we don't fully trust this guy's word alone. On the other hand, as many of you likely know, the Witness was someone who was close to Colin for years, and Colin was willing to let him crash at his place before New York Comic Con.
You do have that steady FPS. Unleashed Recompiled has steady FPS, to be fair. Like, it's actually really, really good. Not perfect. There are a couple of dips here and there, but then again, it's been on the internet for what, like a week or two? Project 06 has been on the internet for years now. Like, give it a chance.
It was highly probable that he would have access to some damning information about Colin. I specifically asked him to screen share and screen record that specific DM and click on the profile as a
Games woke, Rainbow.
means of verification, and he did exactly that to convince people that the DM was real, which facilitated our belief in the story.
Just hear freaking dead cow have a chuckle in the background.
But
You made
further
that joke
analysis
last stream,
of the
right?
video and the narrative
Fairly
resulted
certain
in
I
us
did as
spotting
well.
errors, some of which we gave Colin the chance to
Oh,
outline in
I
a voice
think
call
this
with the
is-
Witness,
oh, yeah, no, it
and
will
some
be
of
the
which we
same
found on our
place, yeah.
own as we were growing more skeptical. So it became more apparent that the Witness falsified evidence to
Like, this
appear
is some
real,
of the coolest
likely to
shit
play
in
on
a
the fact
Sonic
that
game.
we were already clowning on Colin for the other things he did. I corrected the
Imagine
narrative and
if, like,
apologized for
Sega did an
sharing
official
this.
remake
However,
of Fixed
before
Story.
we even had the conversation with
That'd be
Colin to prove
interesting.
that the Witness lied, Colin threatened to leak my face for talking about this.
Let's just have a little look at this. Hold on.
Threatened to leak
You're real suspicious. I literally showed proof of everything. Get off my dick. You're literally believing someone who you know is a known liar and a felon about me killing my cat. Redact everything and get off my dick or I'm posting your face. I think this speaks for itself. I'm just gonna go for a piss before I burst. I'll be right back. But, yeah, this is not good, Colin, and you should not have
Rift in
done
the
this.
balloon confirmed.
Oh, wrong one.
He was gonna go toilet eventually.
Rift is a balloon. That means we need to throw darts at him.
I'd call him a Moab, but he's way too skinny to be a Moab.
Yeah, no, that's Puffer.
Puffer's the size of the bat.
Or maybe your mother.
Oh, again, I get this guy out of here.
Alright, I'm gonna head off the stream for now, so it was great to be with you guys, so I'll see you guys later.
Alright, see ya. Right, Phoenix. Alright, Mister. Oh, I thought Tifa and Barrett were married. I'll try and talk to Riff when he gets back about getting you in the VC. Okay, when is the fight with Papa coming? What fight? He ain't gonna do shit, bro. All he does is threaten to send missiles.
Cole can't fight Puffer because he's got no time because he's too busy playing Final Fantasy VIII, the greatest game in existence.
Not even gonna humour that one.
Yeah, you're not going to humour it because it's not funny because it's just true.
I bet it's just not true, but you know. Sorry, I actually play video games where I don't get punished for using one of the core mechanics.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VIII.
Which is not a very good game.
It's not good, it's great.
Oh, it's fucking shit, that's what it is.
What guy are you on about specifically? Your FBI agent?
Back. A rainbow in my Sonic game. What's this stream about? It's about a drama involving Colin.
Rift Phoenix wants in the live stream chat.
Maybe. What's your favorite fan project? Like Recompile or Project 06? Not gonna lie, it's definitely between those two. Project 06 is so good, but Recompiled is like a dream come true. Like,
Me personally, I'd go 06 just because Project 06, like, that took a game that was just shit and actually made it pretty good, whereas Recompiled, it just took a game that you could already, like, that was already great and you could get, although
yeah, it's like
it's
like Project 06 is unfinished, but it made 06 like better than it could have ever hoped to be. But like Recompiled is like the definitive version of Sonic Unleashed. So it's like it's kind of like they're both great for different reasons.
Leak my face for talking.
I think that Sonic Project 06 did more for Sonic 06 than Recompiled did for Unleashed, though. I will say that much.
Yeah, but
About this. And he ended
Recompiled
up
is better than Unleashed, just...
Yeah, it's like Recompiled and Project 06 are like objectively better than the base games. The only reason I prefer Recompiled is because Project 06 is unfinished. Like, it doesn't have any boss fights, doesn't have the story, doesn't have the hub worlds, doesn't have the side missions, doesn't have anything. It's just got the stages. That's the only reason at the moment why I prefer
Project
Recompiled.
06 isn't Project 06 also built from the ground up?
Oh yeah, like I understand that, but it's like it is still unfinished.
To, you know.
Yeah. Really good fan projects though. Really fucking good. Like everyone who, especially since Project 06 is, I'm fairly certain like one guy worked on it. So it's like one guy who didn't even play regular 06. Like what an absolute legend.
Posting several images of my face on Twitter out of spite, and pinged every fan on his server with my face. He didn't take it down until after I realized the evidence was falsified, and took it down on my end, then asked him to take down the images of my face now that this issue was cleared. And even then, I had to reach out to Stir, who happened to still be a mod on a server, to delete any messages that still...
I feel like this section is a little bit clickbaity. I'll just move my camera. So the entire section is SK falsely accuses me of killing my cat. It's like SK literally acknowledged that he was in the wrong for doing that. So it's kind of weird that you're, like, framing it as if he falsely accuses you of it. It's like, I mean, yeah, he did, but, like, he acknowledges he was wrong.
Had my face, including the original ping Colin made to a server, since it still shows the images despite the tweet being deleted. And he had to make a server announcement to tell
Pretty cool transition, not gonna lie.
Colin's fans to stop sharing my face and to delete it off their devices. But thanks to Colin, I can't be sure my privacy was kept.
Alright, well, now that SK explained the situation, I don't really have...
Do you think we will ever get a real remake for PS5 for 06 or Unleashed? I mean, you could, but, like, I don't know why you'd want them, because Project 06 and Recompiled just set the bar so freaking high. You may as well just start on PC gaming.
And also, like, for Xbox, they're still backwards compatible, so, like, they'd only be making it for PlayStation. And,
Yeah,
like, just making it for one platform is not worth it.
I mean, I think console gaming is pretty pointless in 2025, but I mean, it's up to you. Play whatever you like.
Console
But what he's going to
normies.
do in the next
Console normies, console peasants. No, obviously play whatever you want, but like realistically, I think that, especially if you're a Sonic fan, like switching to PC makes sense because you get so many fucking fan projects. It's unreal.
And you can also
part of the
access
video.
the older games through like
Yeah,
emulation and
it's kind of like the ROM hacks as well, kind of like Pokemon. It's like you get all the freaking crazy ROM hacks that people have made for Sonic.
is make up a bunch of bullshit excuses to make himself seem better than he actually is. And you can
Tell that to Nintendo, they haven't put a single game of theirs on PC. That's fine, I'll just emulate it.
yeah, like
If they-
the only reason you have to buy a Switch now.
if they don't bring me the games, then I'll just go and find the games elsewhere. It is
Like,
what
the
it
only
is.
reason you actually have to buy a Switch now is just to play games through Nintendo's own online service. But the only reason you would even really need to do that is for, like, Smash Ultimate.
Have you ever thought about making a game? Of course I have, but I'm never gonna do it, because I have no fucking idea how to do that. It'd be cool to make
I
a
have
game.
concepts. I have like concepts when it comes to making games. I just don't know how to do it. But I am considering taking a game design course next year for college.
You could-
You
could-
trying to,
you
I
could-
mean, I am wanting to learn that. Like, I'm doing computer science.
Yeah, like
so-
you could probably mod me into a game. Like you could probably mod me into like Angry Birds or something. Like it's just
The
my
Gaming
head.
Rift replaces Ellis in fucking Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, like Gaming Rift replaces like Spider-Man or something. I don't know.
You can feel free to watch that after this video or something. As soon as SK decided to make a tweet labeling me a psychotic cat murderer, I immediately disproved the evidence he shared. And in response, he said that I edited the messages, to which I immediately proved I physically cannot edit the message. And I pointed out multiple things
Well, again, it's like in the clip, in the long segment you showed, it's like SK literally admits that he was wrong. It's like it is what it is. It's like.
about how faulty the logic in the story was. And even after proving this and having so much in my favor that this was not real, SK still continued to run with the story for hours. He didn't reach out to me to get me in a call with Jaden. I had to do that. Again, he continued to do this for hours until I had to tell him to get me into a call so I can just end this right now for sure, because he was being such a fucking moron. And what makes it even worse that he continued doing this for so long is the thing that got him to concede that he was finally wrong was the same thing that I posted first in response to him first announcing this shit to everyone. Like, you cannot make this shit up. So I told him if he wants to keep trying to literally ruin my career with such damning accusations, something that can not only ruin my career, but also any new future career, and possibly even get me arrested. I told him to retract everything and admit he was wrong, or I'm posting his face. And I knew posting his face was a messed up thing to do. But the fact that he is so delusional to think what I did was worse than what he did, which was continue to ignore blatantly faulty logic.
Well, again, it's like the lesser of two evils is still evil. It's like him, like, slandering you and you, like, doxing his face. It's like, you shouldn't stoop to his level. If you truly feel like he's in the wrong, you shouldn't do that. Because it's like, if SK slanders you, like, he will get punished for it. And he will get incredibly bad punished for it. It's like SK saved himself by acknowledging he was wrong. But it's like, if he went through with that, he would have been in so much shit for it. Like, he would have just been yeeted and deleted off the internet, like, if he went through with this. And the same can be said for Colin. It's like, I don't know, it's like, again, it's so annoying. Like, even when I think Colin is in the right, he still does something to just make it very difficult, if not impossible, to side with him. It's like, okay, SK went too far and slandered you based off flimsy evidence. Okay, cool. SK is in the wrong. It's like, okay, you then in response to it, like, doxed his face, or like revealed his face against his personal wishes. It's like, yeah, it's very difficult to defend either of them for this specific thing, but
Ignore and come up with any excuse to discredit the very thing that is blatantly...
SK at the very least admitted he was wrong and retracted everything. Again, like, I don't think that people are going to immediately forgive SK for it, and I don't think people should. Like, that, like, him, like, that was extremely stupid for SK to do that, especially since, in retrospect, the guy who he got the information from was not a reliable source. But it's like, again, it's clearly not a pattern of behavior for SK. It's like he made one very, very serious mistake, and hopefully he'll learn from that. But it's like, what Colin's doing is like, he had a chance to be the bigger man, and he didn't. He was just like, alright, if you don't do this, I'm just gonna dox your face. It's like, that, again, a disproportionate reaction. He didn't have to do that, he chose to do that. And it's making it very difficult to take Colin's side on this one specific thing.
Disproving his whole narrative, and the fact that instead of immediately letting me defend myself in a call or looking a lot further into the false evidence he got from someone that literally lied about damn near every aspect of his life, he decided to make a narrative that I'm a psychotic cat murderer because he was so eager to keep making people hate me even more. And I like how he tries to say, oh, we weren't fine with screenshots because that's not good enough. But the video? Yeah, that totally can't be faked. Like, you fucking idiot. And I can't with the overblown bullshit he keeps bringing up of doxing. This fucking inbred hermit crab keeps gassing up. Yeah, I showed your...
Jesus.
Ooh, dear. Again, not doing yourself any favors by saying stuff like that, dude.
Surely we can at least edit stuff out of the video.
Like, well, again, it's like he said that stuff. It is what it is. But it's like,
No, I mean, like, surely, like, he would think to, like, not include this much stuff in. Like, surely edit something else so you don't, so you look a bit more.
But it's like, it's just, like, again, he's just not doing himself any favors. I sound like a stuck record at this point.
Yeah.
Your face. Yeah, and guess what? You're a 20,000 sub YouTube channel, and there's thousands of other people who are 100 times more famous than you with a public face and name. Guess what? Most of them have never had the problem of someone finding them and doing anything. It's a very...
But again, that's not... that's not the point.
Straw man.
Yeah, it is a straw man. It's like... Also, there are instances of people, like, getting doxed. It's like... The most recent example I can think of is, I think, Valkyrie, maybe? Where, like, she had people break into her house, and she had to literally shoot them in self-defense. Like, that's not okay.
People get swatted, I mean...
Another example I can think of is freaking, Quantum TV. It's like, he's literally... He literally said, if you go online and you type Eggman's information, just type Eggman. Go on the internet, type Eggman, and find his real name. It's not hard. It's like, you have him saying that shit. It's like, you have, Jack's Films and Sniper Wolf. It's like, Sniper Wolf literally not tweets, she posts on her public Instagram with hundreds of thousands of her followers. She's like, oh yeah, who wants to see me go to Jack's Films' house? And it's like, she posts a picture of Jack's Films' real house on her story for people to see. It's like, that's not okay. And this does happen. This sort of thing does indeed happen. And the fact that they are bigger is irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you are a 100 sub channel. It doesn't matter whether you're me, like a 15,000 sub channel. It doesn't matter whether you're like Colin, 70,000. It doesn't matter whether you're Actman, 1 million. It doesn't matter whether you're Mr. Beast. The point is, everyone around the world has access to your content. Now, you can age restrict content, and you can do stuff like that to mitigate who watches it, but the point is, all 8 billion people on the planet, give or take, have access to your content, and all it takes is one random psycho on the internet to disagree with what you're saying and find out your information by any means necessary. All it takes is one person. That's all it takes. And you leaking personal information of any kind, whether it's their face, whatever, especially if they don't want that shit public, you're just handing those people ammo. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It's like, even know. It's like, one of the reasons why I use a green screen is because I don't want people to know what my house looks like. Because I don't want to give them any information at all. It's like, it is what it is. It's like, people know what my face look like, but they don't know where I live. And again, it's like, there are ways to, like, I don't know, like, I don't need to explain this shit to you, like...
And also there's just the point of, even if you're not at risk, there's just...
I feel like I'm treating you all...
choice.
I feel like I'm treating you all like idiots by explaining this shit. Like, I'm really sorry for insulting all of your intelligence, but it has to be said.
Also, I'm back. Is Colin finished being a plus ultra moron
no, he just said that SK was basically being a baby for complaining about the doxing thing, even though apparently people far bigger than SK don't get doxed, even though that's not true.
Yeah, just...
The usual, really. Business as usual. Hi, CHD. Bro, just because they're bigger people than him doesn't mean it's okay to do. Yeah, exactly. It's like saying, I pew-pewed a random guy on the street. I'm innocent because I didn't pew-pew the president. It's like, no, you still commit the crime. It's like, who the hell cares? When I'm doing YouTube, I'm not going to show my identity. Well, it's like, I don't think you should be afraid of showing your identity, but the point is that it's your choice. And it's like, if you have someone like Colin, who is literally, like, he knows that you don't want your information, public, and he still just leaks it anyways, I don't think that's acceptable. But it is what it is. It's like, what's done is done. It's like, there are probably 100, maybe 1,000 people who know what SK's face looks like. You know, there's no going back from that. All we can hope is that he doesn't do it again.
Very hard thing to do, and it's a very uncommon thing in the grand scheme of how many celebrities and famous influencers there are. And you are not a famous influencer. Neither am I. And I have more than double your sub count. If you want to keep pretending that I was worse in this situation, by all means, keep being a
Well, again, I don't think you were worse than SK. I just don't think that I don't think that you were innocent either. It's like, I feel like everyone here agrees that SK was in the worst. Like, he clearly did the worst thing, but at the very least, he's like, he expresses regret about it. And in retrospect, he's like, yeah, I fucked up. It's like, Colin doesn't seem to care about the idea of, like, doxing SK's face. And I think that that's an issue. But, anyways. Especially when SK doesn't even want his fucking face public.
delusional idiot. And you know what's funny is for someone that thinks you...
Wait, what was that? About a delusional idiot?
By all means, keep being a delusional idiot. And you know what's funny is for someone that thinks you being found and put in danger is such a big risk that's likely to happen to you, you know my face is public too. Hell, I've even shown what my street looks like in public. And you decided to spread...
Yeah, and that's incredibly dumb of you. Like, to be honest. Like, I don't think that's a flex at all. Like, I think the sane thing to do would be to not give people, like, information that they can use to potentially find your house. Like, it's actually...
at this point,
it's actually scary how little information someone needs to find out literally everything about you. Like, all someone needs... Like, literally all someone needs is, like, the first line of your address, and all of a sudden, like... a possible search that is the size of the freaking Earth has all of a sudden narrowed it down to, like, an area, like, that big. Like, it's actually scary how little information people need to find out stuff about you.
Yeah, and as a person...
Which is why this channel is sponsored by NordVPN. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean. It's actually scary. It's like, Colin was 100% being a dumbass for, like, showing what his street looks like.
I mean, as a person that has been doxxed, like, I think around, like, 3 years ago, like, during COVID and whatnot, I will not lie, I was terrified to see what was actually gonna come up to my door. Like, I didn't even want to go outside.
Yeah, it's like, I think that the place that I live is relatively nice. Like, it's relatively crime-free, but we still have had instances where, like, people have tried stealing cars. It's like, I wouldn't want to be like, oh, so you know what, internet? I'll have you know I have a new Lamborghini Aventador, the fastest car in the world. It's like, you wouldn't broadcast that. And you'd be a freaking fool for doing so. Unless you're Jeremy Clarkson, where you can just go out and buy another Lamborghini whenever you want, because you're filthy rich. Yeah, it's like, that's not the flex you think it is. It's like, I'm 10 times the man you are because I leaked my public address for people to see. It's like, I don't think that's a flex. But anyways.
You know, at this point I'm starting to think Colin has less brain cells than even you and Echo combined.
Thanks.
I appreciate that one.
The fact that you thought for a second that I was dumber, like, honestly, cheers.
Shut up.
Nah, it's fine, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep.
I'm already
About me
on the
being
eyes.
a cat murderer.
You're the one who constantly says you and Echo share a brain cell.
Yeah, but you're underestimating how big that brain cell is. Also, can I just ask, what the fuck is this thing? Like, I've seen it so many times in Echo in his gameplay.
Okay, so that's the payload in Marvel Rivals. It's the spider payload from the Spider Island.
I was gonna say, I keep thinking that Spider-Man has had one hell of an upgrade. It's like,
No, it's a different Spider
It's a map.
person, Spider Zero.
Yeah.
because I got confused because I
And
couldn't see
pretty much-
Spider-Man on anyone's team, so I was like, what the fuck is this?
Also, the
But I will
character in
say,
it also
though-
is not playable.
Oh, it's
But I
stupid.
will say though, I hate this map. I play it. I hate this map. I actually love this map.
Saying
when
that
I'm
when
playing
Clint
Moon
Tower and
Knight,
Hydra exist
but
is crazy.
Man,
Well, anyway.
Colin,
About
I need
me
to-
being
I
a
need to get
cat
6K
murderer
with
as if
Cylon.
Anyway.
Someone out there wouldn't be willing
Video's
to
almost
do
over.
something
Everyone shut up.
terrible to me for that. And it's funny that when you're in the wrong and try to explain why you did what you did, you're still genuine in your apology in your eyes. But when I do the same thing, it's a backhanded apology that
Oh dear, the backhanded apology thing. Are we talking about the apology where you literally said just my bad, and that was your entire apology? It's like, again, the apology that I made to, like, Ultimate Joker, where it's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have labeled him racist for stuff, because, like, regardless of whether you like or hate him, it is what it is. But it's like, my apology was like 6 or 7 paragraphs. It's like, it's not one line, that's for sure. But anyways. And I think as well, the difference between the apologies is that, Colin, texted it out, and it was like fucking nothing. Like a fucking fart had more substance than his apology. But it's like, SK is literally explaining himself. He's like, okay, I thought this, I was in the wrong for doing it. It's like, his apology is more, it has more substance to it. It doesn't justify what he did, but at the very least he's apologizing for it. And he's putting a lot of effort into that apology.
justifies my actions. Yeah, that dumbass logic can be easily flipped onto you right now. And one final thing before
Well, again, no one's saying that SK was justified for it, but at the very least he seems sincere about his fuck-up.
this shit up. SK, if you're so worried about you being found or your personal or any personal information being shown, you little fucking hermit, then stop getting in.
You little fucking hermit. Now, if SK was a hermit, I don't think he'd have a job, you know.
Right now. And one final
Isn't
thing
that the
before
whole
I
point
wrap
of a
this
hermit
shit up.
on
SK,
Doxxing?
if you're so
A hermit is that you just stay at home all day.
worried about you being found or your personal or any personal information being shown, you little fucking hermit, then stop getting into drama with random people every other week. You've probably been in more drama than the fucking Kardashians have been in. You ever think that maybe for a second, you could be a problem here? You ever think that if you're so scared of any little personal information being shown, that you shouldn't be constantly in drama with people? You finally ran into someone...
Again, a lot of the drama that I've seen SK involved in, like the fucking, Nirvana Mine situation, is when he's like a legitimate danger to his friend group, and he's like, you know, he's like doing shit like that. Like freaking Nirvana Mine, like literally bullied an autistic person, and he also like threatened to dox a member of the community for like some shit. It's like, yeah, like I would get involved in drama if it involved my friends. Like, that's what you do when you have friends. It's like... Especially if it's something freaking serious that affects everyone. It's like, if Phoenix... Like, if Phoenix... not Phoenix, if like freaking Echo, for example, joined VC and was like, oh, Rift, this person made me lose a game of balloons. I'd be like, okay, why the fuck's that my problem? But it's like, if Echo joined VC and he was like, okay, Riff, someone in your server is legitimately cyberbullying me for like, my disability, yeah, I would say that that's my problem. Like, I have a responsibility to help wherever I can. Especially if it's happening, like, in the house I live in. Or in, you know, in my Discord server. It's like... And the way he spins it as if it's his problem, it's like... Just a reminder, Nirvana Mind goes by they, them. Bullying an autistic person has cost them the privileges of pronouns.
Who gave you real consequences for your bullshit. And you can keep crying about it, bitch. Did I have to show your face? No. Was I in the wrong to do that?
Well, again, saying, like, keep crying about it, bitch, it's like, you're not Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like, you can't say this stuff. Especially when, like, you apologized earlier, and you're like, oh, why are people not like, taking my apology seriously? Gee, I wonder why.
I really want to say freaking.
Sure.
It's like, you're not Sonic the Hedgehog. See you later, bitch. It's like, you can't, you're not that guy.
Oh,
But I
serious
warned-
aside here, I want to say freaking how arrogant freaking Colin is sounding here is really pissing me off.
Nicholas, it's been good having you here, my guy. Take care. Not gonna lie, I seem to thrive off... It's kind of difficult for me not to thrive off drama, since whenever I watch drama-related things, like, I have by far the most amount of views in like, my
I
live
think the
streams.
stream peaked at 145.
Bro thinks he's the main character. It is what it is. Bro, you should find like
I'm
the
not
most
gonna lie,
you should find like the most random freaking drama on the internet, and I'll respond to it. And chances are we'll still get a shit ton of views, more than when I just play games normally. Like honestly, it means a lot having you all here. It's crazy. And thank you for the donations
you would be
today.
surprised.
Like, the donations today
You
have
would be
been very
surprised
generous.
when-
Yep.
You would be surprised when Marvel
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 was going on and Colin. You'd be surprised when Marvel Spider-Man 2 was about to release and everything like that. I was literally reacting to the Colin and Amazing Lucas drama.
All of it's just dumb.
Oh.
Yeah, it is dumb. It's good to have you, Katana fans.
You to stop being a dumbass, and instead you continue to be ignorant and continue to spread false information for hours, instead of doing the multiple other things that you could have done instead, to not only stop this earlier, but to also not even start it at all. And as far as the other stuff still being left in my server after I told him I would delete it, I completely didn't even know that the image would still stay up there, like the ping, the @everyone thing, if I deleted the tweet. I thought it would just pop up as unknown. That was a mistake. And then when Stir pinged everyone on my server, you didn't tell me to do.
See, again, it's kind of funny that he's saying, like, oh, I did something wrong, it was a mistake, but when SK does something wrong and acknowledges it's a mistake, all of a sudden, like, you're on his ass for that. It's like... It just seems like double standards again. I don't really know what to say anymore, to be fair. Internet drama is like a car accident, you know, it's messed up, but you can't help but look at it. Yeah, I know, right? Especially when it happened between people who inspired me to make YouTube content, or like Spider-Man content, which is where a lot of people met me, like found my channel from.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's also a shame, because it's like, I've collabed with these guys, like I collabed with SK a little bit, and obviously I did a disagreement day with Colin, and both of them were really chill individuals. So again, it's just a shame that it's come to this, and it's such a shame that I don't think SK was 100% innocent, but...
Hey, at
like,
least he acknowledged his fuck-ups.
yeah, it's like...
Do that. You just told me to delete the shit. But with that, this is gonna be the end of the video. See ya.
Again, I just think that's a very disingenuous way to end the video, especially if it's like, oh, that's the end of the video, see ya. It's like, you could have portrayed yourself as being way more genuine with that apology, response, whatever you want to call it. It's like, closing thoughts here. We've seen both videos. Who are you, like, quote-unquote siding with? Like, everyone in chat.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely... okay.
Like, what do you...
Sorry, but
You
that's
see,
your
I can defend.
Colin. Look at this one
You
here.
see, I can defend most of Colin's points, but like I'm in the middle.
Colin has zero respect for
So-
boundaries and privacy. It's like, okay, this is my mindset. So both people were not totally innocent. Colin for obvious reasons, and SK was also, he did fuck up at times. But it's like, every single thing that I agreed with Colin on, he somehow managed to make me disagree with him. Like, generally speaking, I don't think you should get offended by what people say on the internet. Like, generally speaking, I don't think you should. But it's like, the idea of lumping everyone in with that, like what Colin was doing, and being like, oh, you're a pussy if you're offended by it. It's like, no, because obviously no two people are the same. It's like, you could make a joke about, like, I don't know, freaking slavery to 5 different people, and maybe, like, 1 or 2 of them would get offended. But it's like, you can't just lump everyone together, because everyone's different. It's like, every single thing that I agreed with Colin on, he still somehow managed to fucking make it difficult to take his side. So freaking weird. It's like, the fucking car, it's like I was agreeing with him. It's like, yeah, him not checking the oil wasn't his fault. It's like you gotta learn it the hard way, you know what I mean? But, again, if he just worked, like, a couple of days a week, he would have had substantially more money, and he could have avoided that whole thing completely. It's like, I don't really know what to say. It's like... And it's like, I learnt that lesson the hard way. It's like, I literally... It's funny that Katana Fans is here, because it's like, I literally was not on good terms with him, and like, he fucking hate... I don't even say, Lyoto, I got very scared. I thought you were going to type something else, but it's fair enough.
Honestly, I got ready for that band. You fucking... I saw the T and I was like, okay,
but it's like,
as bad.
But it's like,
don't do that next time, or else I might accidentally end up banning you, and I...
But it's like, the thing with like me and Katana Fans, it's like, I definitely was in the wrong for something, and it's like, we weren't on good terms, and justifiably so. It's like, he fucking hated my guts for what I said. It's like, I did a public apology that was, like, actually substantial. It wasn't just, oh, you were offended, oh, my bad. You know, it's like, I actually apologized and admitted what I did. It's like, but it wasn't like a one-word response I gave. It was like a full-on paragraph explaining the situation, explaining what I did wrong, and explaining that I fucked up and I'm not gonna do it in future. It's like, no one's expecting you to be perfect all the time. You will it's like, I've had to make multiple public apologies, because, funnily enough, in case it hasn't been apparent by now, I say some really fucked up things. And there are times where I don't think before I speak. And there are times where it's gotten me in trouble with people, and I've had to make public apologies. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, just be humble. Just accept you were wrong. It's like, that's all you've got to do. It's like... Now... The question, like, I definitely think that SK was closer to being in the right, because there's a lot of stuff from Colin that I just flat out can't defend. Especially since a lot of things from SK's video, Colin conveniently didn't include, like the whole, him joining a VC and basically mocking his friends for, taking the suicide threat seriously. It's like, I think that's disgusting, and there's probably a reason why he... didn't include that, but it is what it is. Literally all it took for me was to be cool with Rift was an easy apology, and to be clear, he held strong rhetoric. I still think SK was wrong for instigating it and have his community bash Colin over the job shit. That was just lame. But it's like, the get a job thing is like, I don't think they were necessarily bullying him, but it's like, like, the fact that it was trending on Twitter is kind of fucking crazy when you think about it, because of like how niche this whole thing is, like, relatively speaking. But, like...
You're talking about Twitter. Any stupid shit will be freaking trending.
I guess, but, like... Okay. Yeah, but, like... I think that SK and Colin definitely did some things wrong, but I definitely think that SK did less things wrong. It's like, he's betrayed... It's like, he seems a lot more honest about the fact that he fucked up at times. He did some really bad shit, you know, with the whole, believing that Colin, like, killed his cat because of the story from that one dude who, like, wasn't very genuine. But, like, where is this gonna go from here? I can't say too much, because, I don't want to breach, trust, in confidentiality. There is word that SK and Colin, specifically Colin, is trying to reach out to SK to get into a VC and to resolve shit. SK apparently has already made a video responding to Colin's response. I don't know if I agree with him doing that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you've said your piece, he said his piece. It's pretty clear that most people agree with SK, based on the like to dislike ratio in Colin's video and all the rest of it. I think now would be a good time to go your separate ways. That doesn't look like it's happening. SK has made another video by the sounds of things. And interestingly enough, it is Colin, it's not Colin himself, apparently it's Colin's friends who are very good individuals, and they're freaking saints for doing this. Apparently they're trying to reach out to SK and like arrange a Discord meeting that's probably going to get recorded and may or may not go on YouTube. Don't know. The point is I want that to be the end of it. However, I don't know if it is going to be the end of it. I don't know if SK is going to keep making videos. I don't know if Colin is going to, like, he's going to have, like, a bad day. Someone's going to say something, and he's just going to lose his shit and say something regrettable in the heat of the moment towards SK, and that's going to be it. Like, his career's going to be gone, channel dead and buried. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's shit. It's a shit situation, because again, like, Colin's content, helped, get me into the, it helped inspire my channel, like, making the Insomniac Spider-Man content, like, last year. I enjoy watching the Disagreement days, even though I think it's stupid that Colin's made them all, like, members only. It's like, I like... yeah, take care, dead cow. It's like, I like both of their content. Or I did, anyways. Like, I think I prefer SK's content nowadays, because it's a lot less confrontational. But... man. The truth of the situation, for me at least, is that I don't think the situation's going to end. This, in my opinion, is the calm before the storm. Something may or may not happen, and I really hope it doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it's like, Colin has not done himself any favors with this. Like, he could have, you know, done a better apology, you know, he's acted in such a way. It is what it is, what's done is done. But the point is he's basically done a lot of damage to his reputation. And he will probably bounce back from it. Because again, like, there are people who defend him still. But again, it's like, it's an unfortunate situation. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, YouTube is his job. You know, he's mentioned it multiple times. It's like his revenue stream. And if he gets banned on YouTube because of something he may or may not say, of course it's going to be terrible. You know, like, he's losing his job, effectively, his revenue, and he's effectively going to have to start from scratch, whether it's making another YouTube channel or getting a real-life job or whatever it is. And it's going to affect him. On the other hand, I don't think that SK should keep making videos on Colin. It's like, there comes a point with drama when you just get so freaking bored of it, especially as a viewer. It's like, again, using me as an example, with the Ultimate Joker stuff, it was fun for a while, but we tried moving on, and it didn't move on. And it kept coming back up, maybe like once a month, once every 2 months, and it became so boring. Like, and I was lucky. Me and Joker were lucky because eventually it did get sorted out for good. But again, it comes a point where, like, just bringing up drama constantly, especially if it's the same fucking thing over and over again, it's just so dumb. Especially from, like, viewers get bored of it. Like, you as a content creator get bored of it. It's just, like, I don't want either one of them to get banned. I don't want Colin to get banned, even though he said, like, some really messed up shit. I think that I'm a firm believer that everyone deserves a second chance. But, again, the ball is very much in his court. It's like his friends are freaking saints for trying to help him sort this shit out, but at the end of the day, he's the master of his own destiny. You know, he's got to do it himself. Maybe he'll get the chance to make a genuine apology that people actually accept. But, time will tell. Bro practice Google. I don't really care about that. Like, I've long since forgotten that. It is what it is. Like, I've literally forgotten the fucking Ultimate Joker shit, 'cause at the end of the day, I meant what I said when, you know, I've no ill feelings towards the guy anymore.
Honestly, that was probably for the best.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's like, I never really had any ill feelings towards the guy to begin with, 'cause it's like, for me at least, it was just making videos, but there's no denying the fact that that situation got out of hand, and both me and him were in the wrong for shit, and now it's been resolved, and I'm happy it's been resolved. But, yeah, Zach, take care. Spoiled Milk, take care. We're pretty much at the end of the video. I'm just rambling at this point. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. Yeah, exactly. And it's terrible, but it is what it is. I found about this community when they started watching my Miles Morales hater videos. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's nice that we're all coming together as a community. But it's just such a shame that Colin, who probably was the person who, like, first brought us all together, is now the person who's, like, fucking it up for himself. It's very unfortunate. But,
like, I'm not gonna lie, like, half of the community, like, I met through, I met through Colin, or I met through, like, other YouTubers. So
yeah, it's such a shame.
to see this, it's like...
It literally feels like Captain America Civil War. Like, Iron Man and Captain America were like the goats, and now, you know, there's the fucking shit's falling out, and it sucks, and it's not very fun. Hopefully...
So that was like, someone has to pick something.
But, yeah, Katana fans, if you want to, like, send me that shit in, like, Discord DMs, it's up to you, but, I think this is where I'm going to be ending the stream now, because I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say. Again, I just want to say real quick, in case it hasn't become apparent, please don't send any harassment over to Colin or SK, like, regardless of who you disagree with or agree with. Like, at the end of the day, this was a stupid situation, and it could have been something very easily avoided. I think that both of them would be in the wrong for keeping this situation going. I do. Like, it is what it is. Like, it shouldn't keep going. Like, maybe next week or the week after, they can meet up in VC and resolve their differences, go their separate ways, and that should be the end of it. But time will tell whether it is the end of it, unfortunately. So,
It's so funny that a lot of this...
Yeah? What did you say?
I was gonna say, it's very funny that a lot of this fucking drama started because of some fucking troll on a video game.
Yeah, see you when I see you, take care. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, because we're ranking Sonic songs. It'll be fun.
Find your flame S tier.
Have a nice life and stay away from this controversy, and if SK makes a response, don't watch it, because you might get involved. I mean, if I get involved, I get involved. It's like, like, it is what it is. Like, I've basically said what I have to say, and I don't mind, throwing my opinion in the ring, because at the end of the day, these two content creators did a lot for me and my channel. So I'd hate to see it all come to an end, but it seems like it is coming to an end, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So yeah, with that being said though, guys, I'm gonna end the stream before I keep rambling on for another half hour. If you enjoyed the stream, it's not been very nice. We haven't talked about very nice things, but with that being said, if you enjoyed the stream, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord server where we can talk about stuff. You know, we talk about Spider-Man, Sonic, variety of fucking things. Again, have a great rest of your day. this is the first stream I've been in, it's been fun. Well, we're going to be live tomorrow, because we're doing a tier list ranking literally every single Sonic song in existence, which should be very fun. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you on the next one, and